All right, everybody, welcome back. This is Dylan with the Real MMA Podcast. So the main card is about to start, guys. Kamara Usman versus Damien Maia is the headliner. We're lucky enough to be joined by my beautiful fiance Shelby Garrett. She's off camera, but you'll be able to hear her.
Hi, guys.
So show her some love in the comments. And if you are just now joining, thank you for joining the show today. We're going to go ahead and get started in just a few minutes with the first fight of the night. We have Vincent the Silent Assassin Lacroix versus Chad the Disciple Laprise. Vincent Lacroix is based out of the United States with a record of 12-6-1, a height of 71 inches, a weight of 170 pounds, reach of 75 inches, and he will, like I mentioned before, be facing off against Chad the Disciple Laprise, based out of Canada, record of 14-2, height of 70 inches, weight of 170 pounds, reach of 71 inches. I had this, I predicted this one as Lacroix winning with a submission in the second round. I have him at that advantage with a 4-inch reach advantage. So as soon as that fight gets started, we'll go ahead and start breaking down everything that you guys would need to know for that. Right now we're looking at some highlights of the Kamara Usman Damien Maia fight. Miss Shelby, what do you think about UFC Fight Night Chile? Are you pretty excited for the Kamara Usman Damien Maia fight?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Trying to convert Shelby into a big UFC fan. I know she likes a few fighters. She's a big George St. Pierre fan. Not too big of a fan of his voice, like his accent, but she's been watching UFC for a little while, a few years now. So she has a good grasp of the sport. And if you guys like her on the show, let us know, and we'll have her back for another episode for sure. So right now we're just doing the introduction for tonight. We should see the first fighters come out in just a moment. Hope you guys are having a great night tonight. If you didn't get a chance to see before, we did end the podcast a little earlier. I jumped on just a bit early for the preliminary fights. They were pretty solid fights. We had a few knockouts, a few decisions. We had a first round knockout in 30 seconds by body kick, which was pretty incredible to see. Right now, like I mentioned, me and Shelby are watching some of the highlights for Damien Maia. He's a submission artist. He's going to try to get Kamara Usman down to the ground, and he's going to try to wrap him up and choke him out or get him in a leg lock. He's very dangerous from the ground. However, Kamara Usman he's a stud on his feet. He can knock people out with just one punch, and he is very well known for it. He likes to get on top and ground and pound you out, and he will submit you too if he needs to. However, that's not his main trait. He is mostly a knockout artist. Kamara Usman is on the road to the championship right now. He wanted Colby Covington for this fight. He has a very big rivalry with Colby Covington. However, Colby Covington, I apologize, I can't speak tonight, was offered the interim championship fight against Rafael dos Santos. There's a lot of pushback on that since Colby Covington is relatively new to the sport. However, he does have a good way to sell himself. He's pretty much the mouth of the UFC right now. However, Kamara Usman will find his way to the championship. I don't doubt that at all. He's already called out Tyrone Woodley, the current champion. And Damien Maia is his next stop point to that championship fight. Damien Maia, like I mentioned, is a legend. He has fought in the MMA for quite a bit of some time, and he seems to be at the end of his career. He just turned 40 years old. However, he does still feel like he has something to prove here. So it'll be interesting to see. Damien Maia is the higher ranked opponent of the two. He's ranked currently in 5th. And Kamara Usman is ranked 7th. So it'll be nice to see what happens here. Currently, we're watching the co-main event. I was actually mentioning this one to Shelby earlier. This is going to be between Tatiana Suarez and believe it's going to be Alexandria Grasso. Let me double check that really quick though. Alexa Grasso. I apologize. Tatiana Suarez, though, trying to prove herself tonight and move forward in her division. She is the Vegas favorite for tonight. Most of these fights are going to be 3-round fights. They're going to be 5-minute long fights, 5-minute rounds, and the main event fight will be 5 rounds, 5 minutes each. So the CAB MMA has adopted the new ABC unified rules of the MMA, and they will have limited use of replay is in effect for this event. So if something did happen where there was maybe a dirty shot, then they need to go back on replay to verify. They do have that option, but it is limited to just in case scenarios. So I had the good fortune of showing Miss Shelby here Little Tay earlier. She had never heard of this viral sensation named Little Tay, and if you haven't had the chance to see Little Tay, it's pretty hilarious. You should go out and check her out. It's not MMA related, but something that I thought was pretty funny. What's your opinions on it after you've seen it, Miss Shelby?
If I was her parents, I would beat her butt.
She's pretty silly. Currently she's known as the world's greatest flexer, and she likes to show off her money. But she's currently 9 years old. So if you get a chance, if you've never seen it, you should check her out. It's hilarious. But she does need a bit of an ass whooping, if you ask myself.
I can only hope neither one of my kids act like that.
Right. Just a little insight on the Real MMA podcast. Like I mentioned, this is my beautiful fiance, Shelby Garrett. We have a 4-year-old son. His name is Hudson. And if I have any say in it, I hope that he will be in the MMA, hopefully. But we also have another child on the way. She's due in August, so soon we will be adding another member to the Real MMA podcast family, and we're very, very excited for her arrival. And if you guys like gameplay, my son Hudson, he does love video games, so we may actually make a side channel on twitch.com for him to do some gameplay, and I'm sure he would love to have you guys come on there and watch him play. He loves Star Wars. He loves Hello Neighbor, Roblox, and believe it or not, at 4 years old, he's very, very good. So we're still just waiting for this first fight to start off. We just got to check out an awesome Bellator commercial for Roy Countryboy Nelson versus Mirko Krokop, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned Mirko Krokop to Shelby before. But Mirko Krokop is like a UFC legend, pretty much, and him and Country Boy Nelson are both in Bellator now. They were both in UFC prior. Mirko Krokop is known for like high leg knockout kicks, like an axe kick to the neck. But Country Boy Nelson, if you've ever seen him before, he doesn't look like he'd be that good of a fighter. He's got like a fat belly and like a rat tail behind him, but the guy's a stud. He's got a chin from hell, and he's taking shots from like the best people in the UFC and still was able to stand. I actually think one of the best fights he had, if you want to say that, was against Stipe Miocic, the current champion of the heavyweight class. However, Stipe Miocic did knock him out. It was a very good fight though when they did have the chance to fight each other. Both of those guys are currently in the Bellator. We may branch off actually into Bellator. I'm gonna give the UFC a chance to see kind of how it goes, how you guys like these videos. And if you would like to see me branch off into Bellator, just let me know. If you want to drop that down in the comments, I would really appreciate that, your opinion on what you'd like to see. I'm also interested in branching off into maybe not Strikeforce, but some Muay Thai, some kickboxing. I'd like to introduce you guys to some stuff that you may not have the opportunity to see on like a regular TV channel like ESPN or like you wouldn't regularly see that in pay-per-view, but these are good fighters. I mean, kickboxing and Muay Thai is it's no joke. These guys they're studs as well. They don't do a lot of the, obviously, like the slamming and submission, and they don't do a lot of the chokes, obviously, since they can only kick and punch with kickboxing, and Muay Thai is more or less is some submission. With that being said, it looks like the first fight is going to start off here. We have Vincent Laquay versus Chad Laprise. Another quick synopsis. They got about a 5-year age difference, with Laquay being the younger of the two. Laquay has a 1-inch height difference, being 1 inch taller. He's a pound lighter than Laprise. And like I mentioned, my predictions are that he will defeat Laprise in the second round by submission, but we will definitely find out here. See this guy in the background? Is he wearing an apron? Is what I want to know currently.
It looks like it.
Yeah. I thought maybe I was just like seeing something different. I was like, maybe he's not wearing an apron here, but it definitely looks like he's wearing an apron, which is confusing. I'll go ahead and move my mic out of the way, see if it affects our audio here so Miss Shelby can see the TV just a bit better. So Laquay he's an American fighter. He's based out of he was born from the United States, but he has trained in Brazil for like, I want to say a few years. So he's pretty much based out of Brazil. I think that's where his camp is. I'm imagining that he's got some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu training behind him, but we will see what's going on. I believe he's mostly known for knockouts and like his stand-up game. But here we go. It's going to start off. Again, this is going to be a 3-round fight for this one. 5-minute rounds for each. Laquay try to get a good leg kick on him. Missed that first leg kick. Right now, these guys are just trying to size each other out. They're standing up with each other in the middle of the ring, trying to figure out the good points to get. There's a good leg kick there. What's up, Justin? Thank you for joining, man. Good leg kick from the Laprise there. So far, it looks like they're just trying to size each other up. Not a lot of action going on here. Not a lot of conflict between the two, but it looks like they're closing in on each other. There was a good hook from Laquay.
That was a good kick.
Yeah, he's got pretty good leg kicks on him. He's landing those effectively, and we've seen how those can affect a fighter. Raquel Pennington, I mean, she took some major damage last week in the UFC 224 main event against Amanda Nunes, even going so far as to say that she thinks that she may have broken her leg in the first round. If you joined last night for our episode, then you would have seen that we shared that was one of our big stories of the week was Raquel Pennington, and how that after she had got her nose severely busted open and potentially broke her leg at the end of the fourth round, she pleaded with her coaches to let her quit and that she was done. Her coaches asked, they pretty much were like, you need to go back in there. You're gonna be able to push through this. We'll recover later. And just a few seconds after that, Raquel Pennington was knocked to the ground, and Amanda Nunes continued to bust that nose wide open and ended the fight with the TKO. A lot of people have been given mixed responses on that. My personal opinion on it is kind of skewed. I started out with one, and along the way, after she provided a little more information about how she is a bit weak-minded sometimes in fights, and she enjoys to have her corner in her back to push her, I feel like my opinion sort of changed. How about you, Miss Shelby? What do you think?
I don't know. It's a tough one. 'Cause she said she was done. So in her mind, she was done. Like, there's no way she was going to win that fight. And as you see, she just went back in there and got her ass handed to her.
Yeah, I sort of see that. I definitely agree with that point. I think when a fighter admits that they have come to a point where they can't go any further, that's a significant loss for them as far as mentally in the fight goes. At first, I thought her corner did her a pretty severe disservice by letting her go back in there. They should have just threw in the towel, live to fight another day. And you see that with fighters quite a bit. All it takes is one major knockout or one major bad thing to happen. It will turn their career completely around. You see that a lot with boxers, too. Obviously, you get knocked out one time and you're like, I don't want to ever have that ever happen to me again. So it'll be interesting to see where she goes. Raquel Pennington is one of the toughest fighters in the UFC, women or men.
She also went 5 rounds, though.
She did. Went 5 rounds with the Lioness, the champion. And, shout out to Amanda Nunes for that win. She definitely deserved it. Whoa, okay. Look at that. LaQuay took him down in the first round knockout. That was a knockout, guys. 1-punch knockout. Took him down. Pounded him 2 times with 2 hammer fists. And the fight is over. Winner LaQuay by knockout first round. So I was wrong by the way of win, but I did predict that LaQuay would win, so I'm going to go ahead and take some bonus points to myself on that one. What did you think about that right there? It was a good knockout, huh?
You didn't expect it at all.
Did not. He caught him with a good punch. Oh, yeah, here we go. Metro PCS move of the night. So you got a nice little left jab in there and a right hook and put him on the ground. Woo! LaPriest couldn't... His face. He described it all right there. Yep. Nah. LaPriest, if you're watching the fight or if you're not watching the fight, like I mentioned, LaQuay caught LaPriest with a right hook so hard that it nearly knocked his eyes into the back of his head. It was a very good move, very good knockout. Very good first fight for this event. A lot of people have been discrediting this event, saying that there's not a lot of good fighters on this event. That we should see more super fights. I gotta disagree on this one. My opinion is that I think people are wanting too many super fights, and it's gonna oversaturate the market. And if you think about it, these guys they're experts in their sport, So you might not be able to see a Conor McGregor or a Stipe Miocic fight every event, but the main event tonight is between 2 really, really great fighters. And you're gonna see through the span of this show that, we're gonna have other good fights. That was a good knockout.
They also put their bodies through hell.
They do.
Have to have time to recoup. And
they definitely do, yeah. And so what's the trade-off here? Do you want to have more super fights, or do you want to have a fighter that's going to be able to stand the test of time and be able to fight, a lot of these super fights. They can fight 4, 5, 6 years in a row. I mean, you see fighters like Chuck Liddell that are trying to come back now at 48 years old. And Chuck Liddell, he took a lot of damage in his UFC career, mostly because he did consecutive fights back to back to back. And in that amount of just fighting consecutively like that, it will take a toll on you, and it will end your career very quickly. And that's a bummer for MMA fans, because we don't get to enjoy some of the people that we enjoy to watch. However, in the same light of that, I don't, and this is coming from someone who personally loves Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor now has a leverage over the UFC to where he doesn't even have to fight a fight if it doesn't make it worth it for his money. And in one way, I think that he maybe deserved that. He maybe deserves that based on his performances that he puts out in his fights. However, that amount of leverage over a company like that may not be too healthy, and you see now with the whole Brooklyn event where Conor McGregor threw the dolly through the window. Now we're all stuck in the air, like, what are we going to do now without Conor McGregor? What happens if Conor McGregor actually gets charges applied to him, and he can't come to America anymore and fight? They did humor the idea for a Conor McGregor and Khabib fight in Russia, but Dana White says that will not be achievable, that they're going to have to do that fight in Las Vegas or in America, in New York. Probably because of security, I would imagine. Because, I mean, Khabib and the whole country and...
It should be like a neutral.
Yeah, I mean, the whole country of Russia hates Conor McGregor, at this point. And probably rightfully so. But with that being said, I think that you're gonna see you're seeing a lot of these new fighters come up. They're gonna start taking the place of some of these fighters that don't want to go out there and put themselves in danger. Actually, me and Shelby were just talking about this the other day. Yair Rodriguez turned down the fight with Zabit, and the UFC did not even hesitate. They just cut him straight off the roster. It just took him, one time of saying that he did not want to fight Zabit, who was a lower ranked opponent. He's ranked lower in the rankings in their weight class than Yair Rodriguez. So, on one hand, you can be picky, but you can't be too picky. Like, you can maybe have one opportunity to say, I'll pass on that fight. But in the current state of the UFC, we're having all these new up and comers. Like Sean Sugar Baby O'Malley, who is a personal favorite of mine. He's gunning for the top spot. He wants to be the star in the UFC, and he's young. He has tons of follow, like in social media. He has all the young crowd with him, and he's a good fighter. He's a damn good fighter. And he's lower ranked. He's lower ranked in his class right now, but he is rising after his last win. Not sure when we're going to see him again, since he did break his leg in the last fight, even though he did win that fight. So right now we're wrapping up the first fight. LeQuay is just celebrating with his corner. Obviously, he did win by knockout. He got a good right hook on LaPrice, knocked him to the ground, 2 hammer fists, and that was the end of it. Next up, we're going to have Veronica Macedo face Andrea KGB Lee. And if you got to check out the episode last night, Andrea KGB Lee, this is going to be her first MMA fight of her career. She did have prior fights in another company. And if you've never gotten the chance to see her footage, she is very, very, very good. She will end the fight super quick if Veronica Macedo does not, watch herself in the corners, watch herself in the ring. She'll get backed into the cage, and as soon as she does, Lee will finish it very, very, very quickly. So currently we're looking at the Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. They're going over who will be fighting on June the 19th. That's when the show will be returning. You can check that out on live on UFC Fight Pass, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe ESPN just purchased UFC Fight Pass. So I think you can check that out on ESPN3 or ESPN2. I can get clarification on that for sure and post it to the page. That's an awesome show, though. And also, if you are in the looks for a new show, The Ultimate Fighter comes on every Wednesday night, and I believe there are 4 episodes into the season so far, so not too far. That's going to lead up to UFC 226 on July 7th in Chicago. July 6th is going to be the Ultimate Fighter finale, and the two teams are coached by Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic. So there's a little bit of a rivalry there going up into UFC 226, where they will face off for the heavyweight championship. That card is going to be ridiculous. You got that headline by Stipe Miocic and Daniel Cormier. The co-main event for that card is going to be Max Holloway and Brian TCD Ortega. And Shelby knows that Brian TCD Ortega is like one of my most favorite fighters. And after his dismantlement of Frankie Edgar, who before that fight prior, Frankie Edgar is obviously known as a UFC legend as well. He's never been knocked down to the ground, and Brian Ortega got a very good uppercut on him and took him to the ground and defeated him. Brian Ortega actually wanted to compete with Khabib for the championship. However, Ali Quinta got that fight, and obviously we know the result of that. However, Ali Quinta did go 5 rounds with Khabib, which most people do not get the opportunity to do. He did show like a gaping hole in Khabib's game. That if you are good at the takedown defense and you can get out of his wrestling grapple, then his stand-up game is not that great. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the future of that class. Obviously, Conor McGregor is going to hold up that weight class a little bit. I think they're waiting on the details of what's going to happen with him to determine if they want to schedule a Khabib-Conor fight. I think they also are in the talks right now for a GSP versus Nate Diaz fight. I know me and Shelby are super excited for that fight. I'm a personal fan of Nate Diaz. I like his whole banter, his whole gangster vibe. But his fight style compared to GSP is going to be very different. GSP is a master at the takedown, and Nate Diaz he's okay at takedown defense, but his whole thing is the stand-up. It'll definitely be interesting to see what happens there.
The problem, though, is the age difference.
Yeah.
GSP he's old.
Well, I think Nate Diaz is going to be, I think he's in his, he's somewhere in his 30s. He's going to be like in his mid-30s, somewhere around there. I can check really quick just to make sure. I hate leaving you guys hanging like that.
And George St. Pierre's also been out of the game for a while. He
has, yeah. He takes very big gaps of time off. But Nate Diaz, I believe his last fight has been a couple years ago. I think his last fight was Conor McGregor, the second of the two, and of course he was shooting for a trilogy fight with Conor McGregor, and he may actually still get that fight. Conor McGregor definitely is interested in it for the money portion of it, not really for the advancement of his career. Right, you're right, Sherry. Never underestimate age. Definitely. GSP is a beast too, and like I mentioned, Nate Diaz will be in a lot of trouble if he gets him down to the ground. Nate Diaz is 33, so he's not too far off from GSP, but GSP has been a little bit more worn down. But GSP is, he's a world-renowned submit artist. He can pretty much submit anybody. I know also in that weight class they got Kevin Lee that's shooting for the championship, and rightfully so after that Edson Barboza fight. I know Shelby likes to joke around about the chicken dance that Edson Barboza had him doing after that spinning heel kick to the head. But he handled Edson Barboza very easily, more so than Khabib did to Edson Barboza. He got on top of him and pretty much stayed on top of him the entire fight and beat him to a bloody pulp. Edson Barboza looked pretty miserable the entire fight. I know that he was not super happy about the outcome of that. Obviously, that's 2 fights now back to back that he's had to fight pretty much like world-renowned wrestlers, and they sat him down on the ground. But Edson Barboza is a dangerous, dangerous fighter. He has that spinning back heel kick, and if he connects, he's likely to take you down in one hit, and he almost did with Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee got very lucky about falling forward. Another fight for that weight class is going to be Dustin Poirier and Eddie Alvarez, which I think is slated for July 28th now for Calgary. UFC Fight Night Calgary. I think they're going to headline that fight. And from what I've heard from Dana White, the winner of that fight will more than likely get Khabib for the championship. Eddie Alvarez claims that he's an all-American wrestler. He is known for his wrestling. He thinks that he can take Khabib. And Dustin Poirier, we got to see him fight Justin Gaethje for his last fight. Those two guys, I mean, they're like they probably have the most strong-willed in the UFC. Justin Gaethje, he's an amazing fighter and is very, very, very fun to watch. I don't know how he can continue his career the way that he is, though, because he does take a ton of damage. The past two fights, he's been knocked out in some very gruesome ways. Eddie Alvarez, he knocked him out with a knee to the stomach and a right hook to the head, and he couldn't even stand up after. And Poirier and Gaethje went the full 5 in their fight, and Gaethje was knocked out in a pretty awful way. He had to have help getting up from the ref, and I believe after that fight, he did mention that he only felt that he had 4 fights left in him in the UFC. So
I mean, it takes a toll on you.
Yeah, definitely, it definitely does. Poirier deserves it though. If Poirier can, if he can beat Eddie Alvarez, which he has already lost to Eddie Alvarez, they fought before.
I like Eddie, he's just a little bit too cocky.
Yeah, Eddie,
just a little bit.
Yeah, Eddie's based out of Philly. Yeah, he's got that Philly attitude, but he's a good fighter. Right now we're watching highlights of Andrea KGB Lee and Macedo, Veronica Macedo. Personally, I don't think this is going to be any contest. I may be wrong about this one. Andrea KGB Lee, though, she's a monster. She's gonna take the fight to Macedo quick, and she's gonna try to get this one done quick. So right now we're in the middle of a commercial break. The second fight is going to start in just a moment. Once that gets started, we'll do a full fighter. Yeah, Mirko Cro Cop. So yeah, we're getting to check out the Bellator commercial for the next up and coming event. We got Mirko Cro Cop versus Country Boy Nelson. That's going to be for the heavyweight Grand Prix, and so Bellator is a little different than the UFC. Obviously, the UFC is like very structured as how their rankings go, but Bellator instead do a yearly tournament, like a Grand Prix tournament, and the best fighters of that class go into the very end and fight for the championship. We got to see Fedor fight Frank Mir for the last Bellator event, and Fedor is pretty much like the most famous UFC MMA, well, not UFC, I'm sorry, but MMA legend of all time. The tricky thing about Fedor is that he never really fought in the UFC due to some like legal issues that he got himself into, but it was always rumored that he was the best fighter in the world at his prime, and we definitely got to see that with the Fedor Frank Mir fight. Frank Mir started the fight off super strong, and Fedor caught him with one punch and took him right to and finished the fight there. So Frank Mir is eliminated from the Grand Prix now in Bellator. Fedor is going to move on to fight Chael Sonnen, who was in the UFC and he's a famous UFC fighter previously, and I believe he has a podcast himself. So if you like UFC fighter podcasts, you should go check his podcast out. He's pretty funny. He's known for quite a bit of smack talk. And I think he actually made a statement this week on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani that if Fedor is super religious now, So he's saying that he's a man of God and yada yada on that. And Chael Sonnen says, buddy, we're both going into a cage to fight each other. We're both scumbags here. So he's trying to get in Fedor's head already. Chael Sonnen is one of the only dudes to really give Anderson Silva a fight for his money, other than Chris Weidman through his own reason. Personally, I don't think they did fight twice. I'll go ahead and admit that Weidman did beat Anderson Silva twice. The first time he beat him by knockout when Anderson Silva was doing the old,
too cocky.
Yeah, but the second fight I don't count with the broken leg. Obviously it was a freak accident, but I think the fight was being controlled by Anderson Silva prior, and if he would have been able to continue without a broken leg, he may have beaten Chris Weidman.
But that's all it takes is for one
thing to happen. Definitely one blow and you're down.
That goes for anybody.
Yeah. It's so the second fight's gonna go ahead and start.
Her reach is so much more.
Yeah, so we'll do a quick breakdown. So the difference here, Veronica Macedo is 7 years Andrea Lee's age. Andrea Lee is 29. The height difference, Andrea has 2-inch difference, and like Shelby mentioned prior, she does have reach advantage as well. That's why I have Andrea Lee predicted as the winner, and I think she's going to win very, very unevenly by knockout. So I'll give you guys a little bit of audio. I'm going to try to keep it to a minimum, though. I don't want to get struck down by Facebook for copyright reasons. I'll give you guys a little audio, cut it off at some points, and give you my commentary. And then, and if you guys don't mind, if you'd like to leave your comments down, I'd like to interact with you guys and see what you guys think about the show so far. Also, if you don't mind liking and sharing my page, I'd greatly appreciate you. And if you want to go check out my friends over at Game Time Sports, they're awesome people. They welcomed me into, and it's Game Time Sports Network is their full channel name. They were gracious enough to allow me to join their network, and it would mean a ton for me if you guys would go and like and share their page as well, and let me know what you like for the next episode. The next episode, I'm thinking about doing another breakdown of the next UFC fight event. So it won't be like tonight. Tonight's more or less like a free commentary, fight companion, so you guys get my opinions as the fights are going on, and you get a guest every show potentially. Miss Shelby may be joining me quite a bit until we get like a good amount of guests. But if you have somebody you think that should join the show, or if you would like to join the show, just let me know, and I'd love to have you. So we're in the first round, 30 seconds in. Macedo is actually doing pretty well considering. I think she maybe caught Lee off guard, but you can tell how much bigger Lee is than Macedo. Lee has the size advantage for sure, and like I mentioned, she's gonna get one punch, and that's all it's gonna take, and it's gonna be over. It's gonna be over really quick too. That was a good kick from Lee. So you see Macedo's keeping her distance. She knows. So Vegas has Lee as the favorite in this fight. Lee's going to try to get her to the ground. Some good punches from Macedo, though, with a close grapple. She's got Lee pushed to the fence. She's controlling the fight so far. If Macedo can keep it up, she might be able to pull an upset off on Lee. She's going to try to get her back. Yeah, so obviously Lee's going to be the stronger of the two fighters. She's got Macedo in an under grip right now, and she does have her back to the fence, but she does seem to be gaining control. There she goes. She's going to try to get her back again. This is going to be very taxing on Macedo. Macedo is going to realize that after a few rounds of this that she's going to get really tired, and then that's where Lee is going to capitalize on the finish. She's going to try to knock her out. So she got her back.
After this round, she's going to be very tired.
Yeah.
She's getting her a couple good times.
Yeah, so she noticed she's going to try to pound her in a little bit here. She's got her back. She's pressing Macedo on that fence. I'm not sure if you've ever been pressed on a fence before, but it don't feel great. And look at that slam. That was a good slam. Lee is on top of Macedo now. Oh, okay, so she's going to let her up. Oh, man, that was a good kick to her leg. Ooh, another good kick to the leg. Macedo on the ground, but her head is to the fence at this point, and Lee is giving her some pretty gnarly kicks to the leg. She's just wearing her out. And, ooh, what an axe kick. Ooh, what an axe kick. There's 2 axe kicks.
Trying to get her up.
If she don't get up soon, she's going to break her leg for sure. Macedo is panicking here. She don't really know where to go. She probably feels a little trapped, like she can't get up. Referee's going to let her up. So referee let her up. They're standing up now again here. We're at round 1, a minute 30 in the fight left for this round. I'd say Lee's probably won this round so far. What do you think, Shelby?
Probably.
Yeah. Ooh, what a head kick. Macedo landed a monster head kick. Backing up Lee. Watch out. Okay, so the fight is definitely changing at this point. Macedo landed a monster head kick. She's got Lee pressed to the fence. Oh, good slam.
Oh, she got her.
There we go. Lee slammed her. Uh-oh, she's going to go for the submission. Rear naked choke. Lee's got the rear naked choke. This is probably ever right here. Yep. Oh, man, she's going to either submit her. Oh, wow, she straightened her out. Well, she got out of the submission, but she's taking some pretty heavy damage from the back. Macedo's getting some elbows to the back of the head at this point. Lee is still gaining that back. You see where she's kind of holding on to her here. She's trying to get that rear naked choke again so she can choke her out. I thought for sure she was going to get her there. Yep, her Lee's corner is trying to yell for her to get an arm bar. She's trying to get one of those arms. She really needs to get control of her legs here, Macedo's legs. If she can get control of her legs, she can flatten her out. She can flatten her out, then she can control her body from there. Oh, yeah, so Lee's going for the arm bar now. If she can get it straightened, saved by the bell. Macedo was saved by the bell. So we're going to go to a round 2, but based on the first round's results, I'm not feeling too confident for Macedo at this point. Lee's calm. She's smiling. She's not worried about it. She looks good. Her corner's talking to her. They're trying to talk her up right at this point. Hey, Michael Lillard. Thanks for joining. How are you doing tonight, Dad? Again, if you're looking for a show to check out, The Ultimate Fighter does come on Wednesdays. They're 4 episodes into the season so far, but it's been a very good season. The premise for the show is that all fighters that are fighting are undefeated at this point, so if you do lose, then you're out. 2 fighters will get a contract with the UFC. We're going to get back into the fight now. Round 2 of 3. Oh, what a spinning kick from Macedo to Lee. We're at 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Lee's trying to fill her out again, and she's pressing her to the fence. Macedo may want to watch out here. This is where she's going to get caught. That was a decent kick from Lee. Not really too much connection there. She drove her into the fence. Drove Macedo into the fence. Now she's going to try to ground and pound her out onto the fence. She's got her still stuck there. She's going to try to get her back here. Maybe go for another slam. What do you think, Shelby?
I'm trying to go down the ground.
Oh, that was a good knee to the stomach. She may get her from body impact. Yep, there she goes. So Lee has slammed Macedo down to the ground. Now they're going through a little tussle. They're back to their feet, but Lee definitely has control here. I mean, she's looking to get an armbar again. She's the
stronger out of the two.
She definitely is the stronger out of the two. Macedo's going to try to hold her for a second, see if she can get a little bit of a breather. But as we mentioned in round one, just the amount of energy that it takes to be fighting from the ground is going to take an inevitable toll out on her, and Lee's going to capitalize on that. I feel like. Few more ground and pound punches here from Lee. Right now they're basically stagnated out in a hold. Oh, she's got Macedo now in a weird position. So Macedo's still on the ground. So the MMA has this new rule now, apparently. In this situation, if Macedo doesn't get up in a certain amount of time, then the referee has to make her stand up, which can be beneficial for her because she can sort of take the damage that she wants and dictate if she wants to get up. Lee is dragging her literally by the foot at this point, though.
She wants her to get up.
She does want her to get up. She's continuing just to go in on her legs with strong leg kicks right above like the gluteus maximus. That's the proper term for that. If you want to be improper, just right above her butt cheek there, like on her thigh. And you can definitely tell there's some really severe swelling on Macedo's legs where she's taking the damage.
She might be resting. That's why she's not getting up.
I feel that is correct. Yeah, I feel like she's trying to get her win back here. The referee's going to stop the fight. She's going to make Macedo get up again. They'll continue to do this. In the judges' eyes, it's not going to be good look for Macedo. She's going to probably take a disadvantage in points if it does go to decision. Right now we're at a minute 42 in round 2, so these ladies are, so far they're going the distance. Lee is trying to pick her up off the ground though still, and get a good submission and a good hold. Here we go. So Macedo has got the top mount, but not for long. Nope. Lee is back on top. And the issue here is Macedo is sort of flailing around her legs and arms in an attempt to not be submitted. And Lee is having a little bit of a difficult time dealing with that, her trying to sprawl out of it. We did see in the first round, though, that Lee did get the rear naked choke. Macedo's got the leg lock. Lee is still really controlling the fight here. She got out of the leg lock. Lee's back on top mount, and she is trying. It looks like she's going to try to get like a guillotine or maybe a rear naked choke again. It'll be interesting to see what happens from here. You notice how she's bending her legs around that one leg. Macedo is rather. She is dictating where that mount goes with that 2-leg grip on Lee. And she lost the 2-leg grip. As soon as Lee gets that leg free, she will more than likely inevitably get on top and try to submit her. She's got a very good hold. If you're watching it, you'll see she's got her arm pinned, Macedo's arm pinned on her own neck. So she's using her arm as the leverage to choke her out at this point. She was saved by the bell, so they're going to go to round 3. Macedo definitely took a lot of damage that fight. My current opinion is Lee won both round and 2. What do you think?
I do too. Macedo was saved by the bell twice.
Yeah, Macedo is, she's keeping up. Lee is a very good fighter. For her to go this far is very impressive to me. But Lee doesn't look phased. Lee looks like she's calm.
You look at her face and her face looks fine.
Yeah.
You look at Macedo's and it's...
Yeah, Macedo's trying to catch her breath. She's exhausted, like we mentioned. That top mount submission on Macedo is definitely giving her some exhaustion on her body. She's trying to, collect herself and make sure that, she can continue on with the third round. Lee is just now into her, she's kicking the second burner on. She's about to, start this third round probably very, very hard. If you're Lee, though, you probably can just sit back comfortably and know that you got round 1 and 2 at this point, and if you can just continue the fight on, you will get the win by decision. Personally, I'd want the knockout or the finish. That's going to get you that $60,000 check for fight of the night. But a W is a W. You'll take a W any day. So they're in a clinch from a standing position at this point. Round 3 has started. 4 minutes and 42 seconds. So something I noticed, and Shelby can comment on this from a woman's perspective. This is the second fight now that I've seen. Amanda Nunes and Raquel Pennington, that fight as well. They were having issues with their tops. I wonder if it's something on Reebok's side. I mean, ever since they've introduced Reebok's new uniforms, they have continued to have issues from the women's division for in the middle of the fight. What impact does that have? I mean, if you have to adjust yourself in the middle of a fight, what impact does that really have?
It could cause you to lose your guard and get hit.
I wonder why they're having such issues with that.
Maybe it's because they're sweating and it's not staying.
What is the material you think? Like neoprene or like the trying to think of what Under Armour is called. Like the spandex type.
Kind of like this, like their leotards.
Yeah, sort of like that.
But I know they spray like hairspray under theirs.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's pretty neat.
They spray hairspray under it.
And it's supposed to keep the clothes contracted to your body.
Yeah, because when they flip and all that stuff, they need it to stay and not ride.
Gotcha. So we are in round 3 now. 3 minutes and 15 seconds left. A lot like the rest of the fight, Macedo is pretty much on her back, hands behind her head, kicked back, relaxed on the ground. Lee is just delivering these monster kicks to the leg. She continues to deliver the kicks to the leg. Macedo is sort of taking the chump way out, I feel like. But if Lee doesn't watch out, she will kick her in the head like a Tony Ferguson type move, and she could potentially knock her out that way. Lee is saying she's not doing it. Ref is going to make them stand. Now they're going to go from standing position again. 2 minutes and 41 seconds. Good punch from Lee here. That was a good right jab. Macedo with a high kick. She tried. Missed it though. So Macedo's going to try to press, and she's going to try to give her some punches now. She's going to throw some of her wild stuff. Yeah, she connected with Lee a couple times there, and Lee's going to go ahead and try to clinch her from the top and push her against the fence here to try to dictate how the rest of this match is going to go, so she doesn't get knocked out. At this point, Lee is more than likely going to win this fight. I'd be surprised if she did not. Right now, these ladies are, they're exchanging some knees to the leg. Lee has slammed her down to the ground now, and she's on a half guard mount from the side. She's got side control for her. She's trying to just size in that submission. She's trying to figure it out from this point. She'll want to watch out for her hands, though. Her hands are getting awfully close to her eyes. That was a good elbow from Lee on Macedo. She's going to try to get her, I believe, an armbar here. It looks like. Yep. No. Oh, wow. So Macedo gave her back from the ground with Lee on a top mount, and she's going to try to flatten her out here and get her with a rear naked choke. See if she can get her to submit. Oh, no, actually. Do you see that Kamara that she's going to try to put her in? You see her arm? She's got her arm bent behind her neck. Look at Macedo. She's really struggling here. She's trying to figure out what to do. And 55 seconds left. Lee's going to try to finish her. She's giving her some like hardcore elbows to the head. Look at that sprawl. That was pretty unreal. Watch out. She's got her arm. What are you thinking at this point if you're Macedo? Watch out now. Oh. So Macedo tried to pick Lee up and slam her. Obviously, Lee's trying to get that arm for an arm bar so she can submit her out. These two ladies they're gonna duke it out to the end.
She might want to start trying to throw some punches because there's 20 seconds left.
Yeah, so Macedo is gonna try to throw some in the wild. Lee is obviously way bigger, and Macedo essentially is giving up at this point. She's laying on her back. She definitely watch out for that leg though. All right, so that's gonna end the fight for Lee and Macedo. We're gonna see the results here in just one moment and see what the judges decide. I'm gonna go ahead and call this. My prediction is obviously I'm gonna stay with Lee. I'm gonna go with unanimous decision, judge's decision, obviously. But yeah, statistically, she got more significant strikes. She took her down obviously way more than Macedo was able to take Lee down. But you know, shout out to Macedo. Macedo she was at a disadvantage from this fight in the beginning. She was a Vegas underdog, and she went the full 3 rounds with Lee, and Lee is a beast. So that's something to be proud of, even if she doesn't get the W tonight. You know, Veronica Macedo is young. She's 22. Something to look forward to in the MMA. My only note to that is maybe stay off your back a little less, you know.
Yeah, get up and actually try to fight.
Yeah. And I'm not saying if you have a strategic plan to get on your ground and try to submit from the ground or a kick from the ground, but it didn't seem that way in that fight. Macedo was sort of like just buying time for herself so that she could make it. And that's not an honorable way to really go out. I guess it's not all about honor, you know. It's really just about trying to win. But so right now we're just waiting for those results. If you're just joining us, I have my beautiful fiance Shelby. She's commentating with me tonight. We're covering UFC Fight Night Chile with the headline event of Damien, the Legend Maia versus Kamara, the Nigerian Nightmare Usman. It's set to be a good fight. We're 2 fights into the event now. The first fight was started off by Vincent the Silent Assassin Lacroix versus Chad the Disciple Laprise, and that was a knockout in first round by Lacroix. Lacroix was the winner of that fight. Lacroix caught Laprise with a right hook, took him down to the ground rather. And once he got him down to the ground, he hit him with 2 hammer fists from the top, and that was all that she wrote for that fight. I predicted that fight with a submission in the second round, so I was off, but I did pick Lacroix, so I'm still happy about that. All right, so second fight is going to be. And actually, oddly enough, so my predictions yesterday on the first episode was Lee by TKO in 3rd round. That went to unanimous decision. The judges decided to give that fight to Lee. That was not a shocker for me and Shelby here. We both called that. That was going to be an unanimous decision. Good fight for Lee, and congratulations on the win to her. So now they're going to show us a commercial of the Colby Covington, Rafael dos Anjos. You get a little bit of the taste of Colby Covington and what he brings.
I'm not a fan of him.
Colby Covington, yeah, he can be kind of an ass sometimes. But if he's like Conor McGregor, if he can talk the talk and walk the walk and back it up, you know, all respect to him. Check out this card, UFC 225 Whitaker versus Romero 2, which is going to be an amazing main event. But their co-main event with Rafael dos Anjos and Colby Covington, another great fight. The third fight of that night is Holly Holm versus Megan Anderson. Holly Holm, obviously world-renowned for knocking out Ronda Rousey for the first time and defeating her, basically inevitably ending her career. And in the feature prelim of that fight, we get to see Rashad Evans, UFC legend Rashad Evans, come back and fight. And we also get to see Clay Guida fight as well. So next up, we have our third fight of the night between Diego Pitbull Rivas, and he will be fighting Guido Ninja Ganetti. Diego Rivas is based out of Chile with a record of 7-1, a height of 68 inches, a weight of 135 pounds, a reach of 69 inches. Guido Ninja Canetti is based out of Argentina with a record of 7-3, a height of 66 inches, a weight of 135 pounds, and a reach of 68 inches. These guys are essentially the same type of fighter. The advantage in height goes to Rivas. The advantage in reach goes to Rivas. I had this fight predicted by Rivas KO in the second round. For the first two fights, I've been right on the winner, not right on the type of win. Not too far off with Lee. Lee had a bit of a harder time to get that knockout against Macedo there. Right now we're just in between fights. We're going to start the third fight up in a minute right after this commercial. You get to check out this awesome Bellator commercial like we mentioned before. Honestly, personally, I'm super excited for Mirko Cro Cop and Roy Nelson, two really good fighters. They're going to try to kick the shit out of each other between the two of them. They are going to definitely give each other a good night. And I've seen we have a few other people join. I'd like to welcome you guys to my show, The Real MMA Podcast. Thank you guys for joining. If you like the show, please like and share our show, or our channel, rather. And we would greatly appreciate you guys as we continue to try to grow. And also, if you would like to go and check out my buddies at on their channel, I would also greatly appreciate that. And you can check them out at Game Time Sports Network. And they cover some other sports. They'll cover pretty much anything that's going on in the sports world: football, baseball, basketball, and they're really awesome. So you guys should go check them out, and I'd greatly appreciate you for that. Right now we're, like I mentioned, in between fights still, so we got a couple commercials. I believe the third fight is about to start. So far, what do you think? We're, 2 fights into this main card. What do you think so far? Pretty good fights? Pretty entertaining? Look at that. Santiago, Chile. That's pretty amazing. Looks pretty beautiful. They're showing us some images of the area. And I've never even been out of America before, but I know Miss Shelby here. She wants to travel around and see a few other locations. Leave in the comments places that you guys like to go visit, and let us know where we should go visit if you have visited out of the country. Obviously we can't really go anywhere right now since Shelby is about 7 months pregnant, but we are definitely planning for the future trips. I know Shelby would like to go to Jamaica. If you guys have good spots in Jamaica that you think were awesome or you had a good time at, let us know in the comments below. We really, really, really would like to know. And if you know anybody that can cut us a good deal on a vacation, we're definitely open for that as well. I noticed Chelsea joined here. I don't know if she may be on the show still. Chelsea hit us up on those Disney deals because we definitely want to check out Disney. Looks like Miss Demi Williams Prescott joined. Thank you, Miss Demi, for joining. So we're just getting a few highlights of these fighters. We're in between probably our last commercial here, and then we'll go ahead and get started again. We could see another Bellator commercial, the same Bellator commercial. Again, if you guys are interested in me covering Bellator, I am personally interested in covering Bellator right now, especially with the Grand Prix going on. If you would like to see Bellator coverage, let me know in the comments or direct message. I'm interested to see what you guys would like to see from the combat sport world. We have a good spectrum of sports that we can cover. We can go over boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai. We can even do college and high school wrestling if you guys would like to do that. I don't know personally, I don't know a whole lot about that area, but I am up for new sports. I like to watch new sports. And we'll also cover other sports too on this channel. I hate to say that we won't. Obviously, the show is going to be based around the mixed martial arts aspect of sports. But I played football for 14 years, and I played baseball and basketball, and I played a few months of soccer, however much you can count that. And I enjoy hockey. I know here in the Nashville area, we got our Predators. Fortunately, we did lose in the playoffs. We had a great season, though, and something to look forward to next year. I'm also going to have other guests on the show. Obviously, I have my fiance Shelby on the show tonight. We may do a special edition episode where we have content curated for the nursing healthcare environment with her and maybe some other people. I'd like to get Miss Sherry on with us, and we can cover that perspective. And if you guys like to join the show and you have a good message to share, or if you want us to promote your business, just let me know. I'd be glad to give you guys a shout out and give you the time to speak and open that forum up to you. I'd like to have whoever would like to join. I don't want you to think that just because it is called the MMA podcast that you have to come on to talk about MMA. Obviously, the main focus will be MMA, but I would definitely love to have whoever would like to join. Okay, NBA playoffs going on too right now. My Cavs are doing terrible though.
That's starting out well.
Yeah. Well, the first round started out, and LeBron, like I mentioned, never been to Game 7 before, like ever in his entire career, and he went to Game 7. So that's not ever a good sign. I feel like Father Time is starting to catch up with him. I mean, I believe, is going to be 30. Let's see. I believe he's in his early 30s, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Shelby's going to check him out really quick and see. So here's the fighter breakdown. We got Diego Rivas versus Guido Canetti. The age difference here is 12 years. Rivas is the younger 12. He's 26. And Canetti is 38. I went ahead and went through the breakdown, but I will give you guys the breakdown again. Advantage is to Rivas. My prediction is Rivas by KO in second round. However, Guido Ninja Canetti, I mean, he's a good fighter. He is the underdog in this fight by Vegas odds, and rightfully so with the difference in size there. But you never know. Fighter's punch could change the whole entire fight. Obviously, Diego Pitbull Rivas is going to be the hometown hero in this scenario because we are based in Chile for this fight, and Rivas is based out of Chile. So these guys, and you can already hear it right here in the background if you can. He does fight out of Argentina, which Canetti does as well. He's from Argentina and based out of Argentina, so these guys are pretty close to each other.
It's a pretty big age difference.
There is a big age difference here, which it may cause issues for Canetti. We'll see what happens there, but age doesn't always mean, it does mean that Canetti does have more experience in the sport. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. They're going to go ahead and start with round one in just about 2 or 3 seconds here, and we'll get started on the commentating there. these guys are gonna they're very respectful to each other. They come in and touch gloves, and they respect. Canetti's fighting style is so strange. He's all over the place. He's very wiggly. He can find spots. His punches find spots that are just not normal. Oh wow! So Canetti went with a strong leg kick for the first initial strike, and as he went for the leg kick, fell after the leg kick. Fortunately for him, Rivas didn't capitalize on him falling. Rivas with a strong leg kick, high leg kick, but it was blocked by Canetti. And then Canetti reverts back to that weird style. Good Superman punch from Canetti. So Rivas has got him on the fence now, but they're tussling around. They seem pretty evenly matched up. Fun fact there. I didn't know that. Canetti hadn't fought in 3 years prior to a recent fight in St. Louis. So here goes Rivas. He's going to go for that leg. Canetti's giving him a good few shots to the head. Yep. So the referee's going to try to break them up off the fence. That's a weird spot. Look, the referee's having to actually grab his fingers off the fence. I guess there may be a language barrier there because they probably don't know English, either one of them. So that's interesting to see how the fight will go. But, I mean, obviously, if you hear someone in your ear saying, something, you're probably going to get a better understanding of what they want. You can see, though, these guys are pretty slick. They're gonna try to manipulate themselves around. And Rivas has Canetti pinned to the fence now. Referee has to mention to him to let go of the fence again. Canetti is taking down Rivas to the ground. He has the top mount, and they're sort of in a holding position at this point. Round 1 of 3 so far. We're 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the first round. Overall, right now, it's a stalemate that I can tell. Canetti is he's in the top mount position so far, and seems to be controlling Rivas pretty well. Oh wow! So.
A lot better than I thought he would.
Oh wow! What a slam! So Canetti picks Rivas up from Rivas appeared to try to get an armbar lock on him. Canetti picks him up and slams him on his head. Now Canetti has the back position on Rivas with a lock, and Rivas took a good amount of a few punches there. It'll be interesting to see what happens from here. I say if you're Canetti, you try to get the submission. However, Rivas does appear to be all there right now. He was talking to his corner. He knows what's going on. So we'll see. These guys are bantamweight, so they're fairly small. I think they're both 135 pounds. You're little guys. But obviously, Rivas is packing Canetti on his back at this point. Canetti's just trying to wear him down to see if he can open him up for that submission.
He's doing way better than I thought he would.
Yeah, Canetti is doing pretty well. And just like with Lee and basically any other fight like this, from the top position that Canetti has on his back, you're not really giving yourself a lot of expenditure of energy in this part. However, Rivas is taking a lot of energy out by carrying him in this position. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when Rivas and him unlock, if they do. Canetti may get lucky. He's trying to find that guillotine. All he needs to do is just get his arm wrapped around his neck here, and he'll get him choked out. Rivas was able to get out of it. However, Canetti...
Yes, but there's only 15 seconds left.
There is, yeah. So the round is about to end. Rivas is trying to gain back control. He's going to pick up Canetti here. Oh, they broke up. And that round is over. These guys are really respectful of each other. They're going to go ahead and give each other a handshake at the end of the round and go to their respective corners.
It's a good way to be, though.
Yeah, I think it's probably they're probably like same type of culture, you know what I'm saying? Like they come from the same like cut of life, the same type of fabric of people. So Rivas's corner is giving him advice, saying like, you know, don't let him take your back. Obviously, that's gonna cause you to have to burn more energy and open you up for some more dangerous shots. Kennedy is 12 years older than Rivas. However,
I feel like he's doing better.
he has a better grasp, I feel like, of the octagon. I feel like he's sort of read Rivas out at this point, and he sort of knows where he's weakest at, and he's going to try to just pick him off at this point to see if he can get him to just give him just a few moments to give him just a few moments so that he can get like a choke in or get a submission in. These guys are going to come out to the middle here, and they're going to go ahead and touch gloves. And round 2 has officially started at this point. 4 minutes and 52 seconds in, or left rather than in the round. So if you're Kennedy in this situation, Kennedy's sort of like, again, trying to read him out. Good kick by Kennedy to the head. However, you don't want to be pressed. You don't want Rivas to press you into the back of press you back into the fence. Kennedy's still trying to give him that weird style. Rivas goes for a kick and falls. Yikes. Okay. Hold on. So they're going to stop the fight. I think there may have been an accidental collision with Rivas and the not so yonder areas. So they're gonna check and see if he's okay. It looks like he took a good little check there to the groin.
I'm imagine that hurt.
Yeah, it did. It was unintentional. Ooh. Took a foot from Kennedy to the groin. I don't think it was intentional though. I think he was trying to check his leg. It looks like they're going to go...
It looks like he went to kick him, and dude went to kick at the same time, and
yeah,
that's just how
collision.
everything landed.
Wow, good kick by Kennedy to the body. Rivas is going to take him down. He's going to... Oh, wow, good slam by Rivas. So Kennedy ends up with the top mount still, though. You can see Rivas is really, really struggling at this point. He's trying to catch his breath. And Kennedy is in a side mount position. He's got side control over Rivas. So if you're Rivas, you're in the middle of round 2 at this point. I'm gonna go with my personal opinion. I'm gonna say that Kennedy probably went away. He took away with round 1, and at this point. Kennedy is in the top mount. He's got one leg hooked by Rivas. Looks like Rivas is going to hook both of his legs behind Kennedy's body, but Kennedy's still with the top mount position. So he's in control here. The judges are just counting up points at this point. If you are Rivas, you're going to want to try to do something. You're going to want to try to get out from underneath Kennedy. You're going to want to try to get some significant strikes against him. And he's going to slip a few elbows in. From the bottom position on Kennedy, but Kennedy's still really pressuring him. And you can tell once a fighter really presses their hips into a person from the top mount that they're really, really putting a lot of pressure on you. I mean, like if you don't be careful, you see how he takes his Kennedy's taking his legs and he's stretching Rivas's legs out so that he can get more leverage from the top to get a choke. So Kennedy is doing a lot of pressing, not a lot of punching. He's trying to land a few shots. So far, he's not had too well of a time landing those shots. Rivas has slipped in a few elbows from the bottom position. Rivas is still taking probably a lot of points from the judge's perspective from being in the bottom position here without really getting anything significantly done. Referee's going to stop them due to pretty much inactivity. And he went ahead and made them stand up, and he's going to go and restart now. Fight's at round 2, 1:40 left. I had this one predicted that Rivas would win by knockout in the second round. And so I may be wrong on that. Wow. Good slam from Rivas. He got the hook under the leg. He's going to try to go for the choke. He's going for the guillotine choke. Wow. So there goes the guillotine. He's got the guillotine from the bottom. Here goes Rivas. This may be it here, guys. Canetti's going to... He slipped out of it. Wow. So he was able to escape with a minute left. That's going to be pretty significant for Rivas. He might be able to get the round on that. He had a pretty severe guillotine choke on him for a good 10 seconds there. I'm very surprised that Canetti didn't tap. Canetti's back on top, though. He's in the top position. Rivas is sort of in a hold position. They're still exchanging a few punches back and forth. Rivas is really trying to get that lock, though. He's trying to get his arms around Canetti. He's really sprawling his body around, trying to spin his body around to get out from underneath that top position. In doing so, though, he's really giving Canetti a weird leverage on him that is probably not going to be too beneficial in the long run. They got 17 seconds, so Rivas will probably get saved by the bell here. If Canetti is going to try to get a choke, I believe, from the top standing position, but I don't think he's going to have enough time for that.
To a third and final round we will go after this.
So after that round, Rivas is walking away, and he looks pretty satisfied with himself. Canetti is just a bit more worn down. So this is where we're going to really see this fight turn out in the third round. Both fighters, I feel like, won a round respectively. Canetti obviously won round 1, and Rivas, I feel like, won round 2. Shelby doesn't think he won round 2. I think Canetti, he did
way better.
He did. I think Canetti spent a lot of time on the top mount, but not a lot of things were done from that. And I think the judges are going to count that against him. But if you're watching this live, Canetti is taking a good amount of time to breathe here and relax. And it looks like he is worn down. He's showing a sense of being tired there. So far, we're in the third fight of the night, and we're now in the third round. So we went 2 fights the full distance. Look at these guys; they're respectful as hell. They're over here hugging each other from the beginning of the fight. So that's awesome to see. Rivas with a strong leg kick, but missed a block by Canetti. Canetti's gonna try to get a low kick, but he was avoided by Rivas. Good leg kick to the body by Canetti. Wow, good punch from Rivas. Good punch from Rivas. So these guys are in a standing position. Canetti's getting himself back to the wall. Here he goes. Rivas and Canetti both connecting with some good hooks. And they're going to restart from the top position. Both guys trying to get some good leg kicks. I say these guys are going to probably start throwing some wild punches in just a few moments because they pretty much know that,
I would say so.
That was a really good spinning kick. Unfortunately, it was missed by Canetti. Second one missed by Canetti. Spinning kick. Rivas is like, come on, man. You're going to have to do better than that. Good punch by Canetti. Rivas has got him in an under hook right now, so he's pressing up against the fence again. Lots of knee exchanges from Rivas. Canetti's still having some trouble getting off that fence. So there's 3 minutes now left in the third round. Rivas is going to try to get Kennedy in a guillotine again. So he slipped out.
3 minutes.
Yep, he got a good knee to the chin. Now he's wearing him out with the... Wow, here we go. Good elbows and good uppercut. All right, so he's taking Kennedy. Watch out. Kennedy's got the guillotine. He's going to try to choke him out here. Yeah, so Kennedy's taking some damage on his face. He's got a cut right above his eyebrow line. Rivas is still trying to escape this guillotine from Kennedy. Looks like he just broke out of that. Rivas has got him pressed, has Kennedy pressed against the fence pretty strongly. I agree. I think Rivas is going to have to get the finish on this fight to win. If not, if it goes to decision, I feel like Kennedy's going to pull away with a good 2 strong beginning rounds to start the fight off. So that cut is opening up pretty good on Kennedy's eyebrow there. He's bleeding a good amount now. Rivas is they're both now in a standing position. They're going to try to duke it out. 1:39 left in the fight. Rivas is going to try to press him and see if he can finish him out. If not, I'm going to have to probably give it to Kennedy on this one. So Kennedy giving him like that weird fighting style I mentioned earlier, where he's more or less using his lankiness to his advantage. He's moving around quite a bit. If I had to categorize it as like any kind of movement, it'd be like sort of a yoga type movement where he's sort of like using his body to like sort of sway around his punch. Kennedy with 2 really good jabs there, pressing. They're less than a minute, 59 seconds at this point. Kennedy still trying to sort of read out Rivas and feel like he thinks he has a punch in him that could potentially finish this. 37 seconds, so Rivas is going to definitely try something here, I would imagine. Good leg kick by Rivas. Good leg kick by Kennedy to the head. Wow, what a punch by Kennedy. Rivas ate a good left jab. 15 seconds left in this fight. Looks like these guys are going to go the distance. So Rivas is going to try to obviously press him here. Good swing by Rivas. Missed though. Nearly missed that. And Kennedy was able to pull out. So after that, I'm gonna go ahead and say before the decision that I was wrong on that one. I believe I'm gonna give that fight to Kennedy, but we'll see what they come up with here in just a moment after this commercial break.
I also believe it was Kennedy.
Yeah, Kennedy was definitely in control in that fight and had the leverage most of the time. So I think on just points alone, Kennedy is going to win that one. So while we're in the commercial break, I'm going to go ahead and go over some more UFC news or MMA news and see if we have anything going on. I know earlier this morning, Kamara Usman come out with a statement to the UFC that he wanted Colby Covington for his next fight and that he'd like to punch a hole in his face was his exact statement. So to say that these guys hate each other would definitely be an understatement. For Colby Covington, though, they did get a chance to go face-to-face at the 25-year anniversary UFC conference that just happened recently. And for Colby Covington, he come out there with the swagger, the same swagger that he usually has. However, when they went into the back, they got to go face-to-face with each other, and they had to break them up, Kamara Usman and Colby Covington. And I couldn't help but notice that Kamara Usman was sort of getting into Colby Covington's head. He sort of psyched him out just a bit. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with that. I obviously think that it's going to be determined based on the results for tonight. If Kamara Usman can defeat Damien Maia, I definitely believe that he deserves the opportunity to fight Colby Covington. And so here we go for the decision.
After 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Y todos los señores anotaron el mismo 29-28. All 3 judges have it 29-28. Your winner by unanimous decision, el ganador por decisión unánime, Guido Ninja.
Yep. So all 3 judges scored that fight 29-28 in favor, unanimous decision for Guido Ninja Canetti. So the veteran, he's coming in with a win there. I'll take that L. That was my first L of the night. If I was a betting man, I would definitely take those odds, because if you know me and Shelby, we do not have that great of luck. So 3 fights. If I'm 2-1, I'm a happy man so far. So we're halfway through this event so far. Some really good fights. Nothing like super spectacular. Nothing like that would blow your mind. I suppose the preliminaries were pretty awesome. If you got the chance to check those out, we had a slam knockout. And when I say slam knockout, I mean the person picked the opponent up and slammed them on their head from a grappling position and knocked them out. We also had a first round knockout in 30 seconds for a woman's fight by a leg kick to the body. So right now they're just doing some post-fight commentary with the fighter to see what his opinions on how he did and see what he thought of the fight. Congratulations to Guido Canetti for the win, and Rivas, you did a very good job there. I think if you just had maybe a few more minutes, you might have been able to get him. But Canetti is a veteran, so he's probably been around once or twice. He knows how to work the octagon. He knew what he was doing. He knew when he got on top of him, most of those rounds, he was wearing him down. So again, congratulations to Canetti on that win. So yeah, Guido Canetti is obviously not the hometown guy. That was Rivas. However, not too far from home, Argentina, Chile, they're relatively close to each other, and they still show Canetti a ton of love. The move of the fight was a leg sweep. And also, that was a good slam. Canetti had him from an armbar position and slammed him on his head. And he had a lot of good leg kicks as well.
I'm really gonna have a major headache tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
After making history tonight here in Chile, another new destination on the slate next week. The fighting city of Liverpool, England.
Yeah. So next week we get to cover UFC Fight Night Liverpool, and to say that I'm excited about this fight would be definitely an understatement. It's going to be headlined by the first place contender for the welterweight division, Stephen Thompson, and he will be taking on up-and-comer Darren Till, who has taken the UFC by a storm. He's surely to be a star in the future for sure. Stephen Thompson, though, is going to be definitely some competition for Darren Till, who really hasn't been pressed as much as he will be by Stephen Thompson. Stephen Thompson, his fighting style is just a bit weird for the UFC fighters to adjust to. He's more of a karate-based style, so he fights from like a side position and uses his legs to his advantage. But Darren Till has showed himself to be a good opponent for pretty much anyone that he's ever fought. he was able to knock out Donald Cowboy Cerrone, and that's definitely a feat, to say the least. And Darren Till, he's a confident guy. He's young, and he's going to try to come in there and definitely show what he is made out of. A good fact to know about Stephen Thompson: he's only been defeated twice, both by the same person, Tyron Woodley, who is the current champion of the welterweight division. And he actually was going to be offered the fight for the welterweight championship. However, Tyron Woodley had a hurt shoulder and didn't think that he deserved a third fight against him. But he has been noted to say that Stephen Thompson was his hardest opponent he ever fought, and he was the reason that his shoulder did get hurt. And Stephen Thompson is being pretty much disrespected because they're highlighting Darren Till in Liverpool, in his hometown, and treating Stephen Thompson like he doesn't deserve to be where he is. But he is the number one contender for a reason, and essentially undefeated. He, like I mentioned prior, had only lost twice to Tyron Woodley both times, and that's to say, that's saying something, because Tyron Woodley is a very, very good athlete. That fight card also has Neil Magny versus Craig White as the second fight on that night. The fights on that card are not very strong. Those guys are not, they're not going to be stars or anything like that. It's going to spotlight Liverpool, where the MMA is starting to grow. So our next fight, the fourth fight of the night, we're getting there, guys. We're over halfway through. The next fight is going to be between Jared the Killer Gorilla Cannonier, and I'm more than likely botching that name. Let's see if Miss Shelby can pronounce that for me there. Cannonier, okay. He will be taking on Dominique the Devastator Reyes. Both of these guys are going to be based out of the United States. Killer Gorilla with a record of 10-3, a height of 71 inches, weight of 205 pounds. Our reach is 77 inches. And his opponent, Dominique the Devastator Reyes, is based out of the United States, as I mentioned prior, with a record of 8-0, height of 75 inches, a weight of 205, and a reach of 77 inches. So these guys are essentially the same exact type fighter. The only difference being that Dominique Reyes has a half a foot difference in height over the Killer Gorilla. However, and Shelby's giving me that look like, oh no, he's very tall. Don't let Killer Gorilla sleep on you. He is a cold-blooded knockout artist. All he needs is one punch, and he will knock anyone out. So if you're Reyes, the question is, do you keep your distance? I mean, you got the height advantage. You essentially have the reach advantage. You can just put keep your hands out, keep the distance, and you will dictate how that fight will go. That's to say that if they get into a clinch, that Killer Gorilla may try to take that death shot. He may try to go for the knockout. So this fight will definitely be interesting to see. We're obviously getting into the back half of the fights. With that being said, these fights are going to probably start. They're probably going to start getting a lot better in the eyes of like a unconventional fan that may not watch UFC very much and may not know too much about the sport. The last three fights are typically the better of the event, so it'll be cool to see that. I think right now we're at an hour and just over an hour and a half for this podcast show. And if you guys have stuck around, really, really, really thank you guys. And I'd really, really appreciate if you could just like this post and share it, and tell your friends that may or may not like MMA or that are just interested in podcasts in general to give us check us out and see if they like our content. This is only our second video, and I'm still really new to this whole podcast thing. And obviously, I'm going to pick up some new things along the way. if you have any advice or tips for me, let me know in the comments down below, and I would really appreciate those comments and tips. And if you guys enjoyed it, let me know too. I'm really trying to gauge out sort of my scheduling right now. I'm really trying to do like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule with a Saturday fight companion on the Saturday that the UFC fights. If there's no fight that weekend, then obviously we'll just do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. That's subject to change depending on how everything goes on with just regular stuff. If you guys think that's too many videos in a week, let me know. I'm interested to see sort of where you guys think on that. The idea is that I'll do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday show, and Monday and Wednesday I'll do a more general outlook of the show with I'll cover the full spectrum of MMA sports. So I'll do Bellator, UFC. I might do a bit of Muay Thai and a little bit of kickboxing, and I will cap the episode off more than likely with the boxing that's going on, and any other type of stories in the sport. I'll do like the top stories of the week, and then I will also I'll cap the week off on Friday with a preview of the UFC fight on Saturday. We'll see what you guys think about guest for that fight companion, and we'll see if we can get that guest on the show with us, obviously within reason. I'm not probably going to be able to get like Ellen DeGeneres on the show, or like a Snoop Dogg, even though that would be awesome if I could. Snoop Dogg, if you're watching this video, big shout out to you if you want to join the show. I would freaking love you forever, but I doubt you're even watching this. Definitely not. If it gets to you though, the offer's still out there. So right now we're in between fights. Michelle's having a good laugh at me over here. We have Reyes versus the Killer Gorilla. I get to enjoy a nice hair replacement commercial here. I hope you guys have enjoyed your weekend so far. I know it's pretty hot out there. At least it was where we were. So, just keep an eye out for your animals outside. Make sure that they have tons of water and food. Just a personal note from the Real MMA Podcast. I know I have 2 big dogs, and they wish that they probably could come in right now, but they are definitely too dirty to do that. I hope you guys are having a great weekend so far. Shelby, anything going on you want to talk about? Anything cool this week that you've learned or that you've seen that was interesting?
No, Hudson's kept me pretty busy this week.
Yeah, Hudson's a handful. He's just a bit of a dork. And like I mentioned earlier in the episode, if you guys are interested in it, or if your children are interested, I know my son likes to watch YouTube Kids, and he likes to watch other children play video games. My son, Hudson, is going to have a side channel where he will be doing gameplay of different video games that he enjoys, like Roblox and Hello Neighbor, and we might play a little bit of PUBG or Fortnite. PUBG is a little more blood, a lot more blood and a lot more gore. So we may go with Fortnite because it's a bit more acceptable from the children's perspective. But if you're interested in that, let me know, and I will give you the link to that in the comments here, and you can check him out on Twitch. He would definitely love that, and I'll let him know that you're checking it out. So here's the breakdown of the fight. Like we did the height and weight and reach there. The only thing we didn't cover is age. Killer Gorilla is 6 years older than his opponent, but Reyes is 28 and Killer Gorilla is 34. So we'll go ahead and get into this as they're about to begin the first round. Reyes is a Vegas favorite by 230 points. Dominic Reyes is undefeated at this point, 8-0. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, he's never lost, so he won't know what it will be like to lose if he does. He won't really know what to expect. I'm a personal fan of the underdog. I like the whole underdog perspective. I like to see the underdog try to come and win. I had this predicted that Reyes would win this fight by KO in the second round, but I'm definitely not sleeping on Kelly Gorilla. Yeah, Mark Goddard. So we are getting into the bigger guys at this point. They're going to be considered like light heavyweight. 205 is going to be considered light heavyweight. Mark Goddard is a big referee, so he's going to be able to handle these guys. The fight has officially started. Wow, whoa! Reyes starts the fight with a big swing on Kelly Gorilla.
Looks like they're both going in and swinging.
They are, yeah. So this one's going to be a lot more action, I would think. Because both these guys are brawlers. They're not really going to try to go to the ground. You're going to see a KO or a TKO in this one.
Of about 26 minutes. They're both fighting like it's a one-round fight.
Yeah, they definitely are. So they're definitely fighting like it's a one-round fight. They're trying to go for that kill shot. They're going to try to see if they can get that knockout, that highlight reel, that $60,000 check, because that's what they want. They want the fight of the night, that knockout of the night. They want that money. Or in the words of Conor McGregor, they want that red panty money. They want to call their wife up and say, it's time to put the red panties on. Ooh, good knee by Kelly Gorilla. Sent Reyes to the ground. So Reyes has got a hold of Kelly Gorilla's leg. Kelly Gorilla's just wearing him out in the head. A few good uppercuts there. Reyes let go. They're going to go ahead and unclinch from there and go to a standing position and fight. Good kick by Kelly Gorilla. So far, Kelly Gorilla is definitely keeping the fight on his side. He's really controlling Reyes. He's moving around, pushing him back. Not a good sign for Reyes. If you're Reyes or if you're in his corner, you're going to want to tell him to press. You're going to want to tell him to keep pushing forward. Don't let him get you into the back of the cage. You're going to want good punch by Kelly Gorilla. Good hook. So these guys have they went back to the stand position. They're gonna recollect. 2 minutes and 50 seconds left on this round 1 of 3. Good punch by Reyes, a good straight jab. So Reyes can really control the fight if he continues like that to keep the distance with his punches. The right jab, good punch by Reyes again. Uh-oh, he caught Kelly Gorilla. He's hurt him, it looks like. Good kick from Reyes. Good head kick from Reyes. Good kick in the body from Reyes. Yep. Kelly Gorilla's hurt. He's going down. He's very, very, very hurt. There he goes. There's the end of the fight. Wow. KO. Reyes. So I had Reyes as a KO in the second round. I was not very off. KO first round Reyes. Good job, Reyes. Congratulations. Kelly Gorilla definitely looks upset about it. So Reyes is going to be respectful. He's going to come over. So he definitely KO'd Kelly Gorilla. Kelly Gorilla really doesn't even know what's going on. He's still trying to recollect himself. Wow, nasty uppercut. That's what knocked him. That's what started the whole thing off, was a vicious uppercut from Reyes. He had a bit of the chicken leg syndrome there, if you notice.
Not as bad, though.
No, definitely not as bad. Wow, yeah. So uppercut to finish the match off. Just a nasty, nasty uppercut from Reyes. Kelly Gorilla hit his knees immediately. Congratulations, Reyes. Still undefeated at 9-0.
3 first-round victories in the octagon. We make it official after this.
All right, guys. Well, they're going to go to a commercial break there, and in the meantime, we're just going to hang out here. Obviously, Reyes won that fight, so it won't go to a decision or anything like that. If you guys are new to the MMA world, if you'd like to let me know what brought you to the channel, leave that down in the comments below. I'd like to see. I'm interested generally as to what you guys are thinking when you see the channel. If there's anything that can maybe bring you guys in, that would be enticing to you all. I'm up for that. Like I said, I'm a relatively new channel. And so I really just trying to get a good grasp of what to, provide for you guys. Also, I want to continue to try to, give you what I think is interesting for the MMA world. I'm very interested in branching off in other subjects, though. Like I mentioned, I played football for 14 years, and I enjoyed the sport of football very much so. I played baseball, basketball. I have a little bit of, Shelby cheerleaded. She did dance as well. So we have that perspective as well. And, we also are involved in a lot of different things in the technology and healthcare world. So if you're involved in that world and you want to come on the show and discuss, we would definitely love to have you. So we're going back to the fight now. The judges are going to go to obviously announce that Reyes won by knockout. 2 minutes and 55 seconds into round 1. KO by uppercut. Damien the Devastator Reyes.
I'm here with your winner, Dominic Reyes. Another fight, another first-round knockout, just the way you like it.
Estoy con el ganador Dominic Reyes, otra pelea, otra vez ganando en el primer asalto.
Chile, te amo! Yeah, man, can't be playing like that. I can train my ass off. And I show up here and fight like a warrior. I get to fight with great warriors as well. And it's an honor to fight here in Chile in front of the fans of Chile.
So now we're 4 fights down, going into the 5th fight. Now we're going to get into the co-main event of the night. Alexa Grasso, based out of Mexico, with a record of 10-1, a height of 65 inches, a weight of 115 pounds, and a reach of 66 inches. Will be taking on her opponent, Tatiana Suarez, based out of the United States, who is currently undefeated with a record of 6-0, a height of 65 inches, a weight of 115 pounds, and a reach of 67 inches. These ladies are very, 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 very highly skilled fighters. Their measurements essentially match up completely almost to the T. Suarez with an inch advantage on reach. I have that fight set as my prediction prior to the events is Suarez by decision. I'd like to see her. I'd like to see her try to finish off Grasso. Obviously, that's a bit more exciting for us, but based on the way that these ladies are set up, their technical skills, I would not be surprised if they do go the full 3, and the judges have to go off decision.
It's time to keep climbing and be in the title picture by the end of 2018. Tatiana Suarez has different plans. The one-time wrestler transitioned to MMA, won the Ultimate Fighter, and looks to stay perfect. That fight is next.
William Hill sponsors BC Sports coverage of UFC.
So just looking at some of the responses on UFC Fight Night Chile so far on Twitter, some pretty funny posts. Luke Thomas from Thomas News, and I believe he also is the host of the Luke Thomas Show on Sirius XM Rush 93 and MMA on Sirius XM Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And he also works for MMA Fighting with Ariel Helwani. He decided to comment and mention that until Americans stop wooing all the UFC events, they should be held in South America because this is such a pleasant relief. I mean, every fight that we've seen so far, these guys have been super, super, super respectful to each other, and you definitely want to see that.
It's nice. It's not.
Yeah, we're not accustomed to seeing that, in America. Yeah. If you're an American fan, you really want to see the respect there. It's something that just came in that I just found out about. We mentioned it earlier. Holly Holm was moved from the prelim card to the main card in place of Alistair Overeem and Curtis Blades, which is a confusing move on the UFC's part. Alistair Overeem and Curtis Blades, that's a definitely a crowd bringer. Holly Holm, she's a very, very, very good fighter. She's the number one contender right now for the women's featherweight division, but she's fighting an unranked opponent in Megan Anderson, and it'll be interesting to see where they go with that one. Also on that card, I didn't mention, but CM Punk from the WWE has formally joined the UFC. He'll be taking on Mike Jackson, who has never fought in the UFC. Actually, he's fought one time in the UFC, if I'm not mistaken. Both of these guys are pretty much brand new athletes to the UFC. They're going to be the first fight on that main card, so that'll be interesting. And then the second fight is between Tai Tuivasa from the Samoan from Hawaii. He's a big old chunker boy from the heavyweight division. He'll be fighting Andrei Arlovsky from Russia. Andrei Arlovsky's like the biggest man I've ever seen in my life. I think he's like 6'7", 6'8", and he's fighting Tai Tuivasa, who's not that tall at all. He's more or less like a chunkier, shorter type of fighter, but he has a cannon of an arm. His mentor and his apprentice under is Mark Hunt, who is a UFC legend and known for his knockout walk-offs. So right now we're seeing the preview for the Tatiana Suarez fight.
This is a stacked division. So many great names, so many great performances tonight. In case you missed them, that it's not a matter of just holding your spot. You always want to win impressively, for sure. And Alexa Grasso telling me this week,
Tatiana Suarez is a scary, scary, scary woman. She can definitely beat Grasso if she gets her into a corner to where she can get a good shot on her. Grasso, however, is a higher ranked opponent than Tatiana Suarez in their division. Currently, Grasso is slated at 9, and Tatiana Suarez,
Mexico's top candidate for world title honors at 115. Alexa Grasso has gotten off to a strong start in her UFC
guys.
career with victory.
And that division that these gals are in is a strong, strong, strong division. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with these two fighters. Again, I'm gonna say Tatiana Suarez has the advantage in this fight, and I have her winning by decision.
When she won season 23 of The Ultimate Fighter.
She was the season 23 winner of Ultimate Fighter. Really good season too. If you get the chance to check that season out, it's an all-women's season, so it's a little bit of a change and pace because we get sort of saturated down by all men's division, and people sleep on the women's divisions. There are some great fighters. Obviously, we get to see. We've gotten to see Chris Cyborg. We've gotten Amanda Nunes, Raquel Penningtons. You get the Misha Tates. These are not bad fighters. These are very, very good fighters.
I haven't heard anything about Misha Tate in a while.
So Misha Tate is retired technically at this point.
Did she have a kid or
She did, yeah. She did, yeah. She works with Matt Serra from I believe he has an XM radio channel, but he's a former MMA fighter as well, and she does commentating work as well. So we get to check out the Bellator commercial again. I think they've had, which is really neat because the UFC and Bellator are technically they are competing companies, but they are respectful enough that they can promote each other like this. And so they've been heavily promoting Bellator tonight.
Which is nice.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. So right now we're in between fights. We're going to be checking out the Suarez fight in just one moment. I think we just broke the 2-hour mark on the podcast, so if you guys are still with us, thank you for staying with us. I know it can be kind of tricky sometimes with podcasts, to stick around for 2 hours, but we are in the thick of the fights. We're going into the 5th fight now. We only have 2 more fights, the 5th fight and the main event. This is technically the co-main event. So if you're just now joining, this is going to be a really good time to join. These last 2 fights are going to be really, really good knockout fights. So the fight should start in just a few moments, and we'll get the breakdown as these 2 women come out and get the fight about to be started in just a moment. Just going through some other news stories that interest me from today. Michael Bisping. So, what's your opinions on this, Shelby? Lyoto Machida, after he knocked out Vitor Belfort, called out Michael Bisping. Michael Bisping is technically retired at this point. He claims he's done. He's not going to fight any more fights. However, Lyoto Machida is an interesting fight because these guys are both like MMA legends. Lyoto Machida is, I believe, close to 40 years old age, and Michael Bisping is not too far behind him. Does that fight interest you? Do you think that's going to be a good fight? Lyoto Machida obviously beat Vitor Belfort with a straight leg kick to the neck knockout, and that knockout was pretty gruesome. It basically locked him up to a point where he could not even move anymore. And Lyoto Machida and Michael Bisping have had a bad past with each other because Michael Bisping is not too big of a fan of people that do steroids. So,
I mean, that's understandable.
Yeah. So here we go, guys. Fight number 5 is just about to start. Alexa Grasso, based out of Mexico, is 3 years age of Tatiana at 27. Both ladies at 5'5", weight at 115, and reach at 66 inches. So these gals are pretty much the same exact statistic-wise fighters. They are very compatible fighters. Suarez is known for her stand-up game, and Grasso is known for her submission game. So it'll be interesting to see where they take this fight. Tatiana Suarez is a 750-point favorite in Vegas. So she is definitely the fighter that Vegas is pulling for on this one. But like we've seen tonight, Canetti was the Vegas underdog, and he pulled it off. He did win. So we'll see where this goes. Personally, before the fight starts, I'd like to go ahead and give my prediction. I'm going to say, like I did before Suarez, if she goes the full 3, she will win by decision, I feel like. However, there is a good likelihood that she may knock out Grasso. These ladies are relatively small, so it'll be pretty difficult for them to knock each other out via punch. But all it takes is a good leg kick to the head, and we've seen that they will send these women and men down to the ground and pretty much debilitate them.
We will call the action once again between these 2 strawweight prospects. Jenny Andrade here with us
Santiago, Chile. Thank you for being with us on FS1.
And if you guys are joining, we're going to start they're going to start the fifth fight here, round one. These ladies are sizing each other out.
They almost look alike.
They do. They look very similar. Like I mentioned there, the body composition of both of these fighters are essentially identical. Suarez does seem like she carries a little bit of a bigger stature on her. She's a little bit more wide in her shoulders than Grasso. Grasso seems like a little bit of a smaller fighter shoulder-wise, but that can pull in Grasso's favor when she's trying to submit her. Suarez is going to try to pin her to the fence now. She's got her press. Grasso's going to drop some good elbows down on her head. Good knee by Grasso to the stomach. So this is a question. Watch out. Look at that. Suarez has a good grapple on Grasso. She's on the top position. It's sort of a weird grapple that they got going on right now, but Suarez is going for that submission. She wants to get her submitted out as quickly as possible. She wants that finish. We're at 3 minutes and 44 seconds in the round one of the fight. And you can tell Grasso is really getting dominated. She's really getting pushed around and pulled around. You can see, if you're watching on TV, Suarez has her leg. She's got her down on the ground now. Just a lot of this, just wrestle, ground and pound, sit on top, control. Grasso is getting some good elbows in. Not really doing too much of a difference, though, to Suarez. And there she goes. She's got her right back down on the ground. Sitting from a side control mount, Suarez is still on top of Grasso at this point. Grasso's sort of got this weird, she's trying to really sprawl out of this grapple that she's in. However, Suarez, oh wow. So Suarez has got her back. She went for a guillotine choke, or a guillotine choke rather, and Grasso was able to slip out of that. Yep, alright, so here she goes. She's got a rear naked choke on her. She's going to try to get that arm around. If she can get that arm around her chin. And so she's got the arm around her chin now. Yep, here she goes. And she's extended her legs out. She's going to try to flatten her out. And Grasso is more than likely going to tap right here. She's going to try to grab the fence. She's going to give her a few punches. Tapped out. Suarez has submitted Grasso in the first round by a rear naked choke. That was
sweet that she never kissed him.
That was very impressive. That was very impressive. So Suarez is the winner. I was wrong about how she'd win, but I did have her for the pick, so I will definitely still take that W. And Suarez advances on to 7-0. Congratulations to Tatiana Suarez, representing the United States out there with a rear naked choke in the first round. Within half of the round itself, she pretty much dictated the whole first of the part of that round. It was all about that ground and pound, and then as soon as she got an opening on that, she got that rear naked choke, and as soon as she got her neck, it was all over. I think the minute she got hooked around, she started to throw Grasso started to throw the punches behind her to try to get Tatiana Suarez off of her, and at that point, pretty much the fight was over. I mean, she knew that it was going to basically be over for her. So that was an awesome fight. Awesome co-main event. It ended very quickly, unfortunately, but we did get to enjoy that. You know, any time we get to see a submission, especially a rear naked choke, is a good night, in my opinion. And with that being said, they're gonna go to a small commercial break. And me and Chubby will do a little bit more breaking down here. The next fight is going to be the last fight of the night, and that's going to be the main event between Damien Maia and Kamara, the Nigerian Nightmare Usman. The breakdown on these fighters is that Damien Maia is based out of the country Brazil. He's got a record of 25-8, so to say that he's like a veteran would definitely be an understatement. He's got a height of 73 inches, a weight of 170 pounds, reach of 72 inches. And Kamara Usman is based out of Nigeria with a record of 11-1, a height of 72 inches, a weight of 170 pounds, and a reach of 76 inches. So Damien Maia does have an inch on Usman, which I do not think will be too big of impact on the fight. And Usman has a 4-inch reach on Damien Maia. So here's my opinion. I want to get your opinion in the comments below, what you think. Damien Maia is very, 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 very good in submissions. So he's going to try to get the submission as quickly as possible. If he can get Kamara Usman to the ground, it will be a very, very long match for him. He's going to try to work him. He's going to make him very tired. However, Kamara Usman is a monster on his feet. He will catch you with a right hook or an uppercut and send you into another planet. So if you're Kamara Usman, you're going to definitely want to distance yourself from Maia. You're going to want to make sure you keep him on his feet and make sure you dictate the fight by punching him and keeping him moving. But if you're Damien Maia's corner, you have to think, take him to the ground as quickly as you possibly can. So here we are with the results for Suarez. If you're just now joining, Tatiana Suarez in the co-main event was able to get her opponent Alexa Grasso in a rear naked choke and choke her out in 2.5 minutes. She retains her undefeated rear naked choke within 2 minutes and 44 seconds. She retains her undefeated record and she moves on to 7-0. Continuing on the Usman Maia breakdown, I have Usman winning by KO in first round. What do you think, Shelby? Based on what you've seen tonight, as far as submission and knockouts go, how do you have these guys graded out?
You said Maia was really good, like submitting people. And I said they go to the ground and
You think so? So Shelby thinks that Maia is going to get Usman to the ground and he's going to submit him out. I'd say that she may not be wrong on that. The only factor in this whole situation that I think is that Damien Maia is essentially on his way out of the UFC. He's sort of wrapping up his career at this point. He is the higher-ranked opponent of the two of them. He's currently ranked at 5th, I believe, and Usman ranked at 7th. But Usman, like I mentioned, he is on his way to the championship. He knows that Maia is in his way to the championship. He wants Colby Covington. He wants to destroy Colby Covington, but inevitably he wants Tyron Woodley, the champion of the welterweight division.
oh man, give him Colby Covington.
Yeah, Colby Covington, you will certainly see Kamara Usman in the future. I definitely think that the UFC is going to make that fight happen. And also, I feel like the winner of the Kamara Usman Damien Maia fight will go on to fight the winner of the Colby Covington Rafael dos Anjos interim championship for the welterweight division. Because Tyron Woodley is saying he will return back in July or August, he will retain his championship status, become the champion again of that weight class, and the winner of the Rafael dos Anjos Colby Covington fight will essentially be all for none. And also a topic like that is interesting to me, that I like to kind of give to you guys in the comment section or out there that may be watching this, and to Shelby if she'd like to answer, is the situation surrounded by Tony Ferguson. So currently the champion of that division, the lightweight division, is Conor McGregor. However, since Khabib and Al Iaquinta fought in the Brooklyn event, they have stripped Conor McGregor from that championship belt, and in the same light stripped Tony Ferguson from the interim championship belt. However, since Tony Ferguson didn't technically participate due to his injury that he unfortunately suffered from by tripping on a wire at an event and tearing his ACL off the bone, or as the MCL maybe. I want to confirm that, but he had a freak accident where he tore his ligament from the bone. It's very hard to do, and it's very bad luck. He thinks that he deserves to be the champion. Like, he thinks that he still is the real champion. And a lot of the responses from the UFC fighters is that they would rather fight Tony Ferguson as the champion than fight Khabib as the champion. They think that Tony Ferguson deserves to be the champion more so than Khabib. What's y'all's opinion on that? What do you think? Do you think that Tony Ferguson should get a chance to rectify that he is the true interim champion while Conor McGregor is out, and get a chance against Khabib? Right now, the outlook for him is like 6 months from injury, which was like about a month ago. So we're still looking at like 5 months' time that he'll have to be rehabbed up. But following him on Twitter and on his YouTube and all of his other stuff, he's 6 weeks out from surgery, and he's doing leg kicks with that injured leg already. So if he can go ahead and heal up in the next couple months, do you think he deserves that fight against Khabib?
I do, because, I mean, he was injured. It's not like he chose not to fight. Like, he physically couldn't do it.
Stylistically, he is a very, very good matchup for Khabib. Khabib likes to dictate the fight by getting down on the ground and just really just pounding you in. And Tony Ferguson is basically the inventor of the weird fighting style in the UFC. He loves the rolls. He likes to roll backwards. He likes to roll forward. He likes to do double front.
He likes to stay on the floor.
Yes, he does. He likes to do double front kicks. He likes to submit people from the bottom. He likes to actually be on the bottom of that situation. He thinks that he is more skilled at the bottom. And so it'll be interesting to see. Khabib really, I don't think, has ever fought someone as tough as Tony Ferguson before. And that'll be a good bar as to see where that division is for Conor McGregor when he comes back. Saying that he may, or if he does come back to that division and wants to, and humors that fight between either Khabib or Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson, famously known for calling Conor McGregor Conor McNuggets. He is interested in the Conor McGregor fight. He wants that fight. He wants to prove that he is the real champion. Like, he's as the interim champion before. He wants to prove that he is the real champion of that division by beating Conor McGregor. If you're Conor McGregor, you're wearing basically a target on your back at this point. Everybody wants you. You're the top man. So to be.
But Conor acts like he can take anybody. So.
Yeah. Conor wants that fight between Floyd and the UFC. Floyd Mayweather. He wants that Floyd Mayweather fight. He wants to rectify what happened in the boxing match that they had just recently. I think was that last year, or I want to say that was last year.
It was last year. Maybe it was 2 years. I don't know.
Let me check that really quick, because I know I believe it was in the latter part of last year that they had their fight in boxing. Yeah, so that was August 26th of 2017. That's the last time that Conor McGregor has fought in a match, a combat sport match. Now, he has not fought in the UFC for 3 years almost at this point. It'll be 2 years, two total years. The last fight that he had was Eddie Alvarez, which he won by TKO. So right now we're just looking at some highlights from Damien Maia's last fight against Matt Brown, and which he won by submission. And fun fact about Damien Maia, like I mentioned, he has a record of 25-8. Of the 25 wins, he's won 12 of them by submission. So to say that he is good at submitting people is definitely an understatement. Here's a time spent in position. Maia, 53% in standing, 35% in top, 10% in bottom. Kamara Usman has never been taken down in the UFC competition before. So this will be definitely interesting. He's never been taken down by a single person. 52% standing, 47% top. He is a true brawler. He is a true puncher. He wants to knock you out, and he wants to put you down quick. Damien Maia, he likes to make you suffer for a little longer. He likes to get you on the ground, choke you out a little bit, turn you around, choke you out from a different position until he knows that he can actually really get you. His last fight his prior fights. Matt Brown is a very good athlete, very good in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So for him to beat Matt Brown was a very, very good win for him. Damien Maia, like I mentioned, though, is almost out of. He's on his way out of the UFC at this point. He is nearing 40 years old, and he is considered by many a legend and a veteran in the league, in the company.
For both fighters. Kamara was
See this guy here that's commentating, the bald-headed guy? So his name is Jimmy Smith. He's from Bellator, but he moved over to UFC. He's essentially like the Joe Rogan of Bellator. And Joe Rogan and him are actually really good friends. And he was a lot of the reason why he talked Jimmy Smith into coming over to the UFC. For Bellator, that was a very significant loss for them. He was attempting to renew his contract with them, and they decided to let him go because they thought that it would be, more beneficial for them to move on in that relationship. And I don't know if that was a very good decision. He's a very good commentator. He has a good amount of knowledge about the sport. And if you like Joe Rogan, I mean, he's just like Joe Rogan. He's got that same kind of banter and same kind of whole humor about him. So if you're just now joining the fight, we are here. The main event is about to start right now. These fighters are about to come out. We'll do a stylistic breakdown really quickly of their height, reach, weight, and age, and then we'll get right into the fight. Obviously, once it starts, we'll go ahead and start commentating. I want to give you my pre-fight prediction as I did before. I think Usman's going to win this fight by KO in the first round. So far, I have 6 fights. I'm 4-1, 4-1 and correct. Not really correct on like how the fights were going to go off, but not too far off. And I definitely think, like I mentioned prior, Usman's going to come in here to prove a point. He's going to come in here. He's going to try to knock out Damien Maia super, super, super quick, get this fight over with so he doesn't have to take a ton of damage on his body, allowing him to have a very quick turnaround and potentially fight Colby Covington or Rafael dos Santos so that he can move on to the championship fight and fight Tyron Woodley. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. Usman is walking out currently, representing the Nigerian country with his Nigerian flag wrapped around him. The crowd loving it. They're definitely loving him. But he'll be fighting Damien Maia, who's based out of Brazil, which is not too far off from Chile. And he is essentially the hometown hero, Damien Maia, in this situation. Most of these Chilean fans, they'll be pulling for Damien Maia over Kamara Usman. But you can tell Kamara Usman is feeling good. He's got a little bit of a swag about him. He's dancing it out. He's relaxed. I think he's got the confidence, and he knows he can beat this guy and Damien Maia. I think the tricky part for him is obviously, like I mentioned, to stay off the ground. Don't let Damien Maia get too much of advantage on him on the ground. He can drain the life out of you from the ground. He can literally choke you from a standing position. I've seen it before from this guy, Damien Maia. Like, literally from a standing position, he can get around, and he will send you straight to the ground and knock you out. So for Kamara Usman, keep your distance, keep your punches going, and then obviously you want to connect, and then you want to make your strikes count. So if you're getting strikes in, you want to make as much damage as you can from Damien Maia. You want to back him up onto the fence. You want to make him run around. You're going to want to chase him down, and you're going to want to wear him out until you find that opening and knock him out. For Kamara Usman, here's some fun facts about him. He has the longest active win streak in the UFC welterweight division with 7 wins. He has the 3rd highest takedown rate in UFC welterweight history. He has 5 takedowns per 15 minutes. He's taking you down and he is just pounding you in when he gets down. And he's never been taken down in UFC competition, never, not one single time. And he's going up against someone that is going to try to take him down every chance that he can get. So if he can, I almost feel I'm going to go ahead and call this out here. I'm gonna say that Damien Maia is going to try to charge him and try to take him down, and Usman is going to overpower him. And when he overpowers him, he's going to give him a hell of an uppercut and knock him out. That's what I'm, at least in my mind, I'm predicting. Like I mentioned, Kamara Usman has definitely got the confidence. He's shaking it out. He's dancing it out. He's smiling, having a good time. And here comes the legend coming out to Lincoln Park too. That's what's up. That is pretty cool. Shout out to Lincoln Park. So we'll go ahead and cut the audio on that. I want to get struck down on Facebook for copyright reasons for the Linkin Park song, obviously. But we'll go ahead and pick the audio back up in just a second for the fight once the fighters get in. And we'll get the stylistic breakdown in just a few moments. Like I mentioned from my pre-research here on both of these fighters, the advantage goes to Usman with a 4-inch reach advantage. Height is not very different. Damien Maia has an inch of height difference on him, and they are both 170 pounds. So from there, they're going to be even up on that, and it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Damien Maia is beginning to approach the ring now. And get his pre-fight checkup and just make sure everything's good there with his gloves and his mouthpiece. Looks like we have a couple people here. Thank you guys for joining. And you guys picked a really, really good time to join. And this is going to be obviously our main event. This is the last fight of the night. If you guys don't mind, I'd really appreciate it if you guys liked and shared my post or liked and shared my page. It'd mean a ton for me as we continue to try to grow the page and grow our community out. Also, if you have any recommendations for the next episode, please leave them down into the comments. I'll be reading the comments after the fight night ends, and I'd love to get your feedback on how I did or how you thought that the show went. And if you have any recommendations for who you'd like to have on the show, or who you'd like for me to discuss on the next show, you can also leave that in the comments as well, and I'll be glad to note that down and try my very best. I made a funny comment earlier. Obviously, I won't be able to get Ellen DeGeneres or like a Snoop Dogg on the show. But, if it's somebody around here, or if it's yourself and you just want to be on a podcast and you'd like to expose yourself to, the Facebook world and have a message to get out, let me know and you can come join the show. I'd love to have you. And also, if you don't mind checking out my friends at Game Time Sports Network. They are some really awesome guys. They cover all types of sports, football, baseball, basketball, and I'd really appreciate if you guys give them a check out. And so Fernando, so there's not a winner just yet. They're about to start the fight in just a moment, and they're actually just now getting in the ring. So the match should just start in just a moment. So we're just getting our introductions here. We'll just give it a few more seconds, and then we'll get to the comment on there once they get started. Got them a big ref as well. Looks like they're going to need that big ref. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, look at the Chilean fans. They're really showing out tonight, showing why they deserve to have this event there. I also know that they're trying to branch out and do some other places. However, I'm not sure what's going on with the UFC. They're holding out on Hawaii. But check this out. Kamara Usman is a 700-point favorite in Vegas. Just like Tatiana Suarez, that's a significant amount difference. Still very swagged out. He's trying to show Damien Maia that he's not fearful and not afraid of what he has to bring him. Damien Maia is still looking really composed here, though. Who do I got, Fernando? I have Usman. I'd like to see. My prediction was Usman KO in the first round, I think. I mentioned before, though, if Maia gets Usman to the ground, I think Maia will submit him. So it'll be interesting. But Usman has never been taken down in his UFC career before. So if I believe that Maia will try to go in for the takedown, and Usman is just going to rack him. He's going to knock him with a uppercut from hell and put him down. I feel. I'd like to see something happen though here. I'm a big fan of the underdog, so it'll be interesting to see for sure. I've been excited for this fight all week long to see what's going to happen. I feel like this one's the most underrated fight of the year for sure. So this fight is going to be different than the other ones. It's going to be a 5-round, 5-minute each fight. Damien Maia is in white trunks and Kamara Usman is in green trunks. If you're currently watching the fight, Usman give him a good kick there at the beginning. Good lower leg kick. Another good lower leg kick from Usman. Really pressing Maia back. Kamara Usman really just sizing Maia up right now at this point. Really just squaring him up. Trying to get really good shots in. Really good left hook from Usman on Maia. He nearly connected. Good block from Maia though. So not much happening right at this point. Maia and Usman really just sort of filling each other out. I do feel like that there's about to be a good blow in just a few seconds, and Usman's going to try to take a shot. I feel like good right jab from Usman. Ooh, good left jab from Damien Maia, right to the chin of Usman. Caught him off guard. Good right jab from Usman again. These guys seem like they're pretty evenly matched up at this point. We're at 3:30 left in the first round. There goes Maia for the takedown. He got Usman down. So there's his first recorded ever takedown in the UFC. Usman has been taken down for the first time. Back up on his feet pretty quickly though. Usman is trying to gain control from the side. Damien Maia is pressing him on the fence. And you'll see that Damien Maia's got that leg hook in on Usman. He's going to try to take him back down on the ground. See if he can get see if he can make it a little interesting and get him a good submission. Usman is having some trouble here. He's going to try to grab the fence. There he goes. Yep. He's got Usman's leg. He's got his arm bent around. Usman doesn't really know what to do from here. He's sort of panicking. Probably because he's never been taken down before. And he's going up against somebody that this is their bread and butter. He's going to try to work him. He's got Usman in a really uncomfortable position here where he's really having to just make sure that he leverages himself on his feet. And yeah, definitely. He's got his arm bent all the way backwards and just giving him just crazy amount of shots to the face. Maia has his back, obviously. The ref's it seems like they're gonna try to probably break this up because they're not really making too much movement at this point. If you're Kamara Usman, you really want to pay attention here because you can make one small mistake and then it's all over from there.
So far, the Wizard, right now, that arm over the top, called the Wizard in wrestling, he's holding onto that for dear life.
So we're at a minute 47 on round one of this fight so far. I give the round to Maia. Maia's controlled. Usman, he took him down. Never been taken down before. See him pounding his leg in there, like in the back of his leg, Maia. So referee broke them up. They're going to break them up and make them stand up again to fight. Here they go. They're going to the middle. I would say Usman's going to try to take a shot here. He's going to try to knock him out. And definitely not going to try to let him get the grapple and see if Maia can take him down a second time. If you're Usman, this is where you really want to press. And Fernando, thank you for checking us out, man. I really appreciate you joining us on the channel. I forgot to mention that. I hope you're having a pretty good night. And I'd like to know who you think may win the fight. Good punch by Maia. Good right hook by Maia on Usman. Final 20 seconds of the first round. Usman is he's doing a lot less punching and kicking than I thought he would at this point. He may have been taken off guard, considering Maia is really taking the punches well, moving around, keeping him active.
His head's probably all over the place from where he got taken down.
Yeah, he's probably psyched out at this point. Usman's corner really just trying to calm him down at this point. They're telling him just to calm down, everything's okay. He's just needs to breathe. Usman, he's doing okay. He's not too shook up, but he's probably got a little bit of his confidence knocked off for sure. I imagine he's not dancing too much at this point, but Maia is looking as cool as a cucumber. I mean, he's in his corner. His corner is just letting him know, like, continue on, continue to press, continue to try to get on the ground, continue to try to submit. And we're off into the second round here in Santiago, Chile for UFC Fight Night on the main event. So second round has officially started at this point. Usman does look like he's a bit gassed, definitely after being taken down and held onto the cage for so long. Good head kick by Usman on Maia. It was blocked, but he did get just a tad bit of connection there. He continues to try to press him. Whew! Good swing, nearly connected by Usman. Right hook. Maia still keeping his composure. He's really trying to press Maia in this round, which is a good game plan for him. He can continue to dictate that by pushing him into the cage. He can really get those punches in the right place. Good leg kick by Usman. Good right jab there again by Usman. He's continuing. Maia's going to try to take down again, but he was stopped like I predicted that he would be. At the beginning, if he would have gotten this the first time in the first round, he obviously would have taken as much damage, but he's obviously learned from his mistake. Usman is on top from the back and has Damien Maia in sort of like a choking type method right now. He's going to really try to get that guillotine choke. Maia's more than likely not going to allow him to get that. But if you're Usman, you got to think about maybe trying to take that shot at this point. You want to try to take that uppercut or take that right hook from like a stand-up position. So the referee's just making sure everything is they're moving, they're making movements. Here goes Usman. They're going to stand back up. Good left hook by Usman on Maia. You can tell Maia is really trying to just calculate everything correctly now, just to make sure that he's not going to make a wrong move. So he's being pushed around just a bit more by Usman. Usman really getting in more of those punches. Good right jab. Damien Maia's right eye is starting to begin to look really red. Maia tries another takedown. Usman stops him again. They're continuing to fight for that takedown, though. Back up on their feet. Usman is going to continue to press.
He's like, I'm going to get you down.
Yeah. Usman is if he can continue this, he will win this fight. Maia is going to continue to try to get that takedown, though, because it's his bread and butter.
They don't shoot that much for that reason, is that not getting it is so incredibly tiring. And also, there's a concept in wrestling, stalemate. You go in, you can't get it, your opponent sprawls on you, stalemate, stand you up again. You generally know pretty quickly if you're going to get it or not. Obviously, there are scrambles, but you don't.
Both fighters really sort of like, they're trying to get the sitch out on each other. They're trying to figure out, what's going to be the best punch for them in this situation. Usman's still really pressing. Not a lot of action as far as punching and kicks go, but, still very active. Second round, minute 40 left in this round. Maia, he seems like he's trying to recalculate his game plan since the 2 takedowns didn't work. If you're Maia's corner, though, I would continue to tell him to try to get that takedown. Usman, he's never been taken down until Maia took him down in the first round. Maia goes for another takedown, and he's stopped again by Kamara. Oh, he's got the leg. He's going to try. Nope. Kamara stopped him. Punch, right hook to the head by Usman on Maia. Definitely stopped Maia there for a second. He had to really rethink that. Usman is beginning to grow confidence here, it appears. He's a bit more loose. He's beginning to land a bit more punches where he was not prior. Another good punch by Usman. These guys are in a clinch position almost. Good left punch by Usman. Damien Maia is going to try to take him down again with a single leg takedown. Usman has got him stopped here. Pressing his back up against to the fence. Oh, wow. So, Maia just did a jump guard around Usman's neck to a takedown. So, Usman is still in the top mount position. But you're likely to see a top choke from there. You're likely to see an armbar from a jumping choke like that. Or a jumping submission like that. So, looks like they're going to be saved by the bell. This is the last 10 seconds of this round, so they are going to go to the third round. But it'll definitely be interesting to see where they go in the third round.
They both look exhausted.
They do. They both look exhausted. Maia is definitely showing some exhaustion now after that second round. It seems that maybe Usman didn't know what to really expect from Maia until he got that first initial takedown done. But now that Usman and Maia really sort of felt each other out and sort of know what to expect from each other, now they're really niching in on like certain things. Usman is starting to pick up speed, pick up his punches, pick up his confidence, whereas Damien Maia is really starting to slow down now. His game plan of the takedown is really not working, so his stand-up, he's going to have to revert to his stand-up game, which is not his best attribute in his fighting style. So if Kamara Usman can continue to dictate the fight like this, he will inevitably win this fight, I predict. So here goes the third round. They've just started the third round. Usman opens the round up with the left jab straight to the face and connected. So Damien Maia shoots for the takedown. He's stopped again by Usman. So it seems the takedown may not work. I mean, anything can happen, I guess. But from the past 4 attempts, he's been shut down. Good punch from Usman. Another good punch from Usman. And here we go. He's landed some good punches now, some very big punches. Maia, you can tell Maia was hurt from the first right hook that he just took on him. We're at 4 minutes and 16 seconds on the third round. Maia is trying to get some distance in between them because he took a very significant right hook to the face. So Kamara Usman really giving him like the pump effect. He's really wanting to stress that punch. Maia really reacting to the punch very actively. He's really popping back from just the simple pump action. It'll be in just the next few minutes. I think that there will be a pretty significant strike taken. Good punch from Usman. Right jab landed to the face, backed up Maia. So Damien Maia really having to figure out this whole stand-up game against Usman, who is a quote-unquote brawler, boxer type.
So far throwing the sharper, crisper punches. And they land. They just snap the head back of Damien Maia.
Maia still being walked down. Try to get the takedown for the 5th time. Usman stopped it almost immediately. Good punch from Usman, left hook. Maia really getting chased around now. He's really getting backed out. Usman's going to probably try to finish him right here, I think. What do you think, Shelby?
I don't know. I think he's still going to try to take him down. I know he's been trying, but I think he's going to hope that eventually it's going to work.
Yeah, if he can catch him and get him on the ground, I think Maia's going to try to go for like that desperate submission.
I mean, he's throwing some good punches.
Yeah. He's trying. Kamara Usman, really good right hook there.
Like, the one I'm talking about throwing the punches is Usman.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I misunderstood you. Yeah, Maia is beginning to develop a good amount of bruising around his right eye. It seems that it's getting a good amount of swelling and cut. He's going to try. Usman's chasing him down here at this point. Maia's running out. He's want to take that damage. From my perspective, though, I feel like Maia is beginning to give up. It seems like he's getting sort of a little bit of life sucked out of him. So he goes for the takedown. He fails the takedown. Usman give him another punch. Look, Usman's going to slap his feet. He's like, get up, man, get up. So, look, Maia's just going to kick back, relax. He's going to kick his hands back. Referee's going to make him stand up. And that's sort of something that we've seen all night long is the whole kick back, relax, kick your hand back. And I think that's something the UFC really needs to really look at and maybe see about penalizing the person a point if you try to kick back and relax on the ground. I understand that's part of a game plan to try to get...
If he was clearly going to, like, not fight till he got up.
Yeah. He definitely wasn't...
It'd be different if they were going to, like, when you try to get up, like, try to do something, they're going to try to hit you, but, no.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So, both fighters now standing. Maia tried to go for another takedown. That's 7 takedowns now shot down by Usman. Usman really pressing 8 takedowns by Maia. Now shut down by Usman. Usman from the top mount with his neck and a guillotine type choke here. He looks like he's going to really try to get that arm around here. He's also got Maia's leg wrapped up as well. There are 10 seconds left in the 3rd round, so they're definitely going to make it to the 4th round, it appears. But this fight is beginning to really outline itself as to who is dominating this fight. If I had to give it to anybody, I would give Maia the 1st round and Usman the 2nd and 3rd round so far. So if you're Maia, you're going to want to come out in the 4th round and really start, doing something. And if you don't think that this, he doesn't obviously think the takedown is going to work. It's 8 takedowns now that's been stopped. So maybe he needs to change the game plan up a bit. If you're Usman, you just continue doing what you're doing. Just keep on pressing, keep on connecting. And if you do go the distance, you win by decision. I'm waiting for that sweet knockout. Just that sweet, just pow, KO. Really just shake the building up. Yeah, I honestly don't even care who it is that knocks out. If Maia knocked out Usman, yeah, I just want to see that sweet knockout. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Darren Till. They're slated for our next UFC Fight Night in Liverpool. We will be covering that here. We'll be doing a live fight companion of that fight as well. We'll also do an extensive breakdown of those fights. Wow! Damien Maia! He has been knocked to the ground. Alright, Usman's really pounding him in now. This might be it. Usman had a strong jab to the neck. Usman hit the ground really quickly. I'm sorry, Maia hit the ground really quickly. Usman is now on top. He's really dominating him in top position. It'll be interesting to see what happens here because I believe Maia may have it might have been a turnaround for Usman for this fight so that he could really capitalize and beat him. So it looks like he's going to try to get a choke. He's really trying to get his arms wrapped around there from that top position. Really holding him down. And then there goes Maia back to his back. The referee's going to make him stand. He's not even going to give him any chance at this point. So both fighters are back on their feet. Middle of the octagon. 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in the fourth round. There goes Usman with another type of. He stopped Maia from the takedown. That's a ninth takedown that stopped. He went straight for the choke right as he attempted to take him down. Usman at a top position. He's sort of like in a north-south type top position where he's at his head, but he still is in a dominant top position. Really just working in punches as he's on the ground, which really is tiring down Usman. You can really tell like that he's really broken a sweat. If you really are basing off like who's put in the most energy, I probably would say that Usman has. Damien Maia though, his left eye rather, is really starting to get swollen. He's going to try another takedown. He failed. That's a 10th takedown. Fail for Maia.
Do you count it off when you fail a takedown?
I'm not sure if they do or not. If anyone knows that and that's watching this currently, if you're penalized for a failed takedown by the judges, or not penalized, but if they counted against you, please comment that down because I'm not really sure for sure. Personally, though, I would as a judge. I would not take a point, but I would give a point to Usman for the stop. So both fighters are back up on their feet. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in the fight. Maia, his eyes severely swollen at this point, bleeding. Kamara Usman it doesn't seem like he's taking too much significant damage at this point. Really trying to just get that perfect punch in to get him down. The only thing that's noteworthy is he does appear to be becoming a bit gassed. Kamara Usman is, and rightfully so after 4 rounds of really putting in the most work of this fight. So we're less than a minute 30 now. Both fighters, again, in a standing position. They're really just exchanging blows at this point, block blows. That was a good right jab by Usman to Maia. Another good right jab to Maia. Maia's a tough guy, though. He's not going to go down easily. He's going to need that one good just knocker just to knock him out. He's not going to go down very easily. So he goes to attempt takedown again. Maia does on Usman with a single leg takedown. Usman is stopping him. So Maia is back on his back. Referee's going to stop, and he's going to make them both stand. 36 seconds left in the fourth round. Usman's still trying to figure in some good punches. Wow, good right jab right there. Again, that left eye of Maia is really starting to get swollen, really starting to get a good cut on it, and starting to bleed there. And it could definitely become an issue later on in the next round, or because they have about 10 seconds left in the fourth round, and they will move on to the fifth.
Well, was just running
Good punch, right hook.
away.
Yeah, Maia is mostly just running around. Usman's chasing him down. I think Maia definitely knows that he is really getting.
Like a knockout.
Yeah, he's really getting worked here by Usman. If I had to predict it, now that we're 4 rounds in, I would say that Damien Maia has lost 3 rounds and won 1. So he's going to really want to come out here in the last round, and he's going to really try to establish a takedown. Once he gets the takedown, he's going to want to try to submit Kamara Usman very quickly. Because if this goes to judge's decision, I feel like Kamara Usman is going to come away with a win. Yeah, so right there in this round, you'll see really just popped him right on the nose one good time right there with the jab, sent Maia to the ground, and as soon as he come down there, he started the ground and pound that he loves to do. What's up, JoJo? Thank you for joining the show, man. So 5th round just started. Officially started. We're 5 seconds in. Kamara Usman really just pushing forward still. Really taking it into Maia. Maia's gonna, obviously, like I mentioned, he's gonna try to take him down. He'll really want to do that as quickly as he can.
Question in my mind right now is Kamara Usman wanted a decisive win. He wanted a big finish. Will he take a risk in the final round or know that he has probably...
That's a good question. If you're Kamara Usman, what do you do at this point? You've won, I feel like, essentially 3 rounds of the 4 rounds that have already been fought. You fight conservatively the last round and get the win, or do you try to go get that finish so that you can potentially send a message to the top guys, Colby Covington, Rafael dos Anjos, and Tyron Woodley? Maia still, with that lay down approach. Referee is bound to get them standing up soon. Yeah. Yep. Referee's going to make him stand up here. It's a good jab by Maia there. The effort for the jab was probably a little too late. Really good right hook from Usman. 3 minutes and 36 seconds left in this round. So this is where, if we're going to see something wild happen, we're going to definitely see it right here. Very good punch by Usman. Wow, good punch. And Usman's going to begin to chase him around. Maia's really going to try to get out of this. Usman's still just landing really good punches. Good left jab by Maia. Caught him off guard. Maia with his 12th takedown attempt and fell. Usman just giving him really good punches to the head from the ground, but with a top position. He's trying to establish a choke, it appears. What's up, Rodney? Thank you for joining, man.
All the action in Santiago on our post-fight show next on FS1, or you can stream it live on Fox Sports Go.
So right now, they're sort of set into a weird... Usman has the top position here. He's got a good choke on Maia. But Usman will be really careful here. Like I mentioned, Maia is known for submitting people in very awkward positions. And he does have a left arm around Kamara Usman's neck and the right hand trying to connect to get potential, like maybe a guillotine choke. So if you're Usman, you really want to be careful here. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in the 5th round. Referee's going to make the 2 fighters stand because it appears Maia was not continuing to try to move. Kamara Usman with a couple more right jabs there, connecting both. You can really tell Maia's left side of his whole entire face is really beginning to bruise now. Another good jab right in the nose. He's really Kamara Usman is really giving it to him. And another takedown attempt, and that's 13 takedown attempts now. All failed for Damien Maia. Rodney, this is the main event. It's going on right now. It's Kamara Usman and Damien Maia is who's fighting. They're in 5th round with 1:20 left. So referee's going to make them stand up once more because of Maia's inactivity. Lots of that going on this fight. Wow, good punch from Usman. Really good right jab. It's almost like he's just right there, like he's just about to connect and knock him out, and Maia just continues to push forward. 50 seconds left in this round. Usman's going to try to... there goes Maia for the takedown attempt, number 14, but that was failed as well. All right, less than 30 seconds here. Both fighters really starting to begin to slow down, it appears. Usman, wow, what a leg kick. Oh, man. Shoo-wee. He got really close to connecting that one. It would have really, really hurt Maia if he did. Maia luckily blocked that. 12 seconds left in the fight. Maia essentially is... Wow, good spinning kick. Wow, what a punch by Usman. Another failed attempt, and that's going to do it, guys. We'll hang tight here for the results. I think that this one's going to go to Usman by an unanimous decision. It was a very, very good fight. Personally, I would have liked to see. Now, unfortunately, he did not fight Rodney. I wish to. McGregor is my favorite as well. They got to pay him that money. That's what is going to make him fight. He wants that red panty money, as he says. For this fight, my own personal opinion, I would have liked Maia to fight. I would have liked Maia to have tried a little bit more. Maybe not laid down and wanted Usman to come to him, get up, try to fight on the feet. Or if he was going to do a takedown, maybe try a different takedown on Usman.
I don't like when they get taken down and they just lay there and they don't get back up.
Right, yeah. That's what, and we've seen a lot of that tonight here in this main card, and mostly from these South American fighters. Maybe it's like a South American type thing. I'm not sure. But yeah, we've seen a lot of that going on tonight. So we're almost done here, guys. We'll get the results in just a few moments here after this commercial, and then we'll go ahead and wrap the show up after the results. We've been live here on the podcast for 3 hours. If you have joined us at any point, or if you join us after the podcast ends, thank you for giving this podcast a shot. I really appreciate all the love and support you guys are giving us. If you don't mind, giving our page a like and share, you can give this post a like and share. I really appreciate it. And also, if you don't mind giving us recommendations for future episodes, if you'd like to see something specifically come out, we would love to hear your recommendations. Also, a final wrap-up point before the results here. If you don't mind, actually, I'm going to hold for one moment.
One final time inside the octagon to Joe Martinez.
So here's the results.
To the judges' scorecards, los puntos 50-45, 50-45, 49-46, 49-46, 2 times 49 points. El ganador por decisión unánime, your winner by unanimous decision, the Nigerian Nightmare.
There we are. So the winner of that fight in the main event tonight is going to be Kamara, the Nigerian Nightmare Usman. I'm going to go ahead and take that W as well, since I predicted him to win. Not exactly how he did win, but that will cap off the night with a 5-1 ratio for picks. So I'm feeling pretty good about that so far. One last thought before we end the show. If you guys don't mind giving my good buddies over at Game Time Sports Network a like and a share, I would greatly appreciate you. And we will be back soon. I want to say probably I'm going to shoot for Monday for our recap of this weekend and what we can look forward to next week. If you guys would like to join me then, I'd love to have you. And And until then, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night and a great rest of your weekend, and I hope you enjoyed the show. All right, bye.